Welcome back to my evil lair. I've got DDK in the dark and ZP ready to rock. The man who never loses his voice during a play-by-play cast yet. ZP, are you nervous? Tonight might be the night that it gives out on you.
No, I'm good. Voice of Iron at least for today. You know, I need a loud crowd in front of me and no side tone to really murder the voice. But right now, I'm good.
There we go. All right, DDK, we've got a good matchup on our hands. I thought for some reason that Sneaky Golem would get like a second life and be able to stay on our screen, but they're gone. Hydration and crew are on the sidelines. They're about to watch Melee Creeps take on BWC. Let's start with the Creeps, the reigning champs. What should we know about NA's team that's playing in a new patch?
Well, I think this team is, it's interesting because they showed no weakness last week, but they looked beatable against Bunny with Clock. So I don't want to say that Melee Creeps are the most dominant team, but they are the most experienced. They do have really players for everything. They've got so many best-in-class hero pools, you know, between like an Ido, John on the side, like basically everybody. so you can't really go wrong. And I think that gives them a lot of fan favorites quality, because when you see an Ido, you want to see a pocket. When you see Jew, you want to see a pocket. In fact, who was actually playing here? We have 7 people on the screen.
We've got a lot. We've got a lot of options. I think it's going to be Ido, John, Saya, Scout. What do you got, ZP?
Yeah, Do is a sub. Do is not on the main roster, so Scout Fishcake is where we're at.
We just wanted to show that he can play pocket if needed. Also, there's a very special guest. He goes by the name of Kalush. He's one of the most handsome Overwatch players to double down, getting paid by a pro team and a college team. He got a free education. He's now a star talent in Marvel Rivals, and he's trying to learn Deadlock. What does that tell you, community? Maybe we're the coolest place on Twitch.tv right now. ZP, anything you want to say to your childhood idol, Kalush?
First off, you know, I've seen Kalush by pubs going all the way back. So Kalush has been in Deadlock for a while. You know, he's taken a hiatus on Marvel Rivals. Also, you talk about Envy players. Speedily, I don't think ever stopped. Like, Speedily is still like high ranked on the Deadlock ladder. He's been the multi-game genius, as it were, and he's been deep diving right now. But right now, if you've been enjoying hero shooters of different varieties, you've been eating good in recent times.
Yes, we're going to introduce the competition for the Melee Creeps. On the other side of the ball is Bunny with Clock, and a new patch just dropped. So we will be walking you through some of the new news. But ZP, you said during the break, Infernus ain't going to be played, you don't think?
I don't know if it's that severe, but Infernus got absolutely murdered. Like, in terms of where he's at, a change that people have been clamoring for a long time is not getting grazed by one bullet, fully resetting Afterburn. Now, for bullet procs and Afterburn, I don't know about abilities. Like, Flame Dash still may reset it to full. Okay. Frankly, I don't know. It just hit. I haven't tested it. But Afterburn, at the very least, is not going to be one of those, I'm nearly out of the burn. Oh, I got tapped once. The burn is back full up. So Infernus is going to lose a bit of damage consistency. But also, Billy's going to get beaten up a lot more when going to the neutrals, especially because neutrals deal more damage, and Blasted isn't going to be helping him against Sinner Sacrifice. Chain Gang may work like a reasonable skill now, because the line of sight breaking has always been kind of stupid on that ability. It doesn't actually break. It's just like, oh, it's supposed to break. Oh, it's not breaking. Maybe now it'll actually break. Wraith got hit early game, which, okay, her win rate's really high, but I don't know. Dan, what are you looking at here? I wanted to go through everything impossible.
DDK, what are you reading here? I know you've got better eyes than I do.
I don't know about that, Pocket. I don't know about that, but yeah, I'm curious. I mean, Infernus definitely. I think the base bullet damage, I almost feel like that's actually worse, because Infernus, I think, is going to be a lot just less impactful. Well, I mean, it's a wombo combo, isn't it? In the early laning, especially, he's going to be less of a threat, and into the mid game, he's just going to be a little bit less of a threat. The Drifter got some hits here on the bullet damage. I don't know if I'm a big fan of that. I kind of liked where Drifter was in terms of his level of threat, because I feel like he doesn't have a lot of great tools, generally speaking, in the professional play, at least. So I kind of felt like that's kind of a response to pubs almost. And that's a question I always have. I wonder how much of this is a response to where things are in the pubs in terms of the numbers. Okay. But Express Shot is something I'm interested in, if this is going to actually impact the Express Shot builds for Viscous, if Viscous's meta will change at all. Do you have any feeling on that, ZP?
Yeah, my guess is that it makes the Viscous builds weaker. Like, the heroes that would build Express Shot probably don't like this change, but a lot of heroes that weren't building Express Shot now have the ability to potentially use it. I mean, it kind of depends on how the math pans out, but I think the item is now more viable for the rest of the cast in all likelihood, but probably not as good for Viscus, who is uniquely awesome for. Return fire, I mean, okay, that's great. Only if the bullets actually hit. That item is really weird in its actual effectiveness. I don't know if that changes anything. Also, focus lens, stop hitting it. Like, please, I don't, like, you, at least at the pro level, you look at, it is not that valuable of an item, especially when debuff removers are in play. Like, focus lens keeps getting hit. I'm guessing it's getting hit because its stats internally are ridiculous in terms of win rate, but I also think that's because people play badly against it. I feel like it keeps getting hit while it's down. I'm like, I don't know if you need to do this. Like, focus lenses, this could be the hit that just moves it into not getting built again. I don't know.
All right, I want to give a huge shout out to DDK and ZP for the breakdown of our hero and item patch notes. More importantly, the people who put it together. We've got one more card for you. And if you can't, someone clip this for us, post it up on Reddit. We need to let more people know about Night Shift. We have weekly competition with EU and NA back in action next week. For now, here is another run through of the neutrals. What are you seeing that stands out, DDK?
I think, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff here. Like, getting shot now slows your move speed by 10% for 0.7 seconds is going to make for a lot less, like, getaways, I would expect. So that's actually one thing that jumps out. But there's a lot of stuff that feels significant here. Obviously, just off of a first reaction, like, this is happening mid-tournament. It's kind of hard to process it all.
Yeah, pretty crazy. What are you seeing, ZP? What are the players talking about in chat?
I think the biggest thing here is that it's slowing down the jungle. Like, it is actually slowing down the ability of someone who's ahead of the game to devour the jungle and instantly devour more, because you're doing two things here. A, neutral HP is going up. That is going to significantly slow you down for the heroes that usually do it. They also, like, buff the damage that you get off melee to, like, not make it even harder for, like, an Abrams or something to take jungle, right? And then the sprint changes also mean as you are going from, like, camp to camp, you're going to go slower. So stuff is going to die more slowly and you're going to move more slowly, which means that it's going to take longer to eat the entire jungle. It's going to be more opportunity to get hit while dealing with the jungle. You're going to be able to contest it a little bit more, and it's going to slow down the amount of soul gain that you're getting in some of these fights. So, I mean, it's definitely going to mess with the flow of people that you expect to carry the game and people that you would normally be putting a lot of your jungle farm to.
Everyone is saying thanks, Yoshi, except for the fans of the team taking on the champions. Bunny with Clock apparently has been hit with character-wide nerfs. ZP, is this true or false? Is this going to be the most affected of our Night Shift rosters with the most recent hit?
I mean, everyone's hit here. Also, I don't even know if they wanted to play, like, Infernus was a lesser choice for them than Vindicta. I do think if Aiden was being like, yeah, I'll play a lot of Infernus today, maybe now you're being like, no, actually lock me into Vindicta, bro. Like, I don't want to play the Infernus gamble. Where, by the way, Infernus still may be fine. Infernus still actually may be completely okay, even though taken down in power. But usually if something like this happens mid-patch, people may knee-jerk and maybe like, I don't want to mess with it. So we'll see if anyone takes the jump on Infernus in this draft.
All right, I know maybe Cook says, chat, we'll keep our eyes on this one. Melee Creeps taking out Bunny with Clock. Ding, ding. It's time to get the bands out with 5 minutes to digest the most recent patches. DDK, they don't want Lady Geisten after Pashi Pop popped off with her. What is that all about?
I mean, you don't want John to have it on melee creeps, but the thing is with John is that, like, you either give him the Geist or you give him the Bebop. That generally tends to be the story. But I definitely see Geist being worse of those two options possibly now. But again, John's such a best in class with it, it's hard to say. But Vindicta ban makes sense, CP. But does Billy still have the same priority after these changes?
I think so. Like, I mean, yes, he's not going to eat Sinners without a penalty because of Blasted, but I don't know. Billy's still really good. Like, maybe Chain Gang feels really bad post-patch because that's one of those changes that you look at as like, oh, it's a minor nerf to Chain Gang, and actually everyone is breaking it as soon as they, like, go behind cover. Like, Chain Gang could suck now. I need to be really, really clear on that because we haven't tested it, but even if Chain Gang is bad, I don't think it changes Billy's overall power, and you're still going to get some value of it in some of your open engagements.
Yeah, most of the places you're going to use it, you don't necessarily have a line of sight always to break it. It's not going to be universally damaging as it currently is used. We take a look at Mirage locked in early. What do you pair it with? A Shiv. So Melee Creeps showing us some old faithfuls. Expectations for BWC, DDK.
Yeah, I do wonder where Do you take Paradox? I feel like you don't take Paradox as melee creeps. You're kind of expecting there to be... you're expecting that to be a B-ball pick on melee creeps, but I feel like you almost want to steal that as EP. Or because I feel like melee creeps kind of have to pick it, because otherwise it gets banned. So I feel like if you want to just totally deny John, you'd pick that here.
Well, John also could just be playing Mirage, but by the fact that they put Mirage out early and that has been one of John's main heroes. Like, I think the problem is that, like, Bebop is still pretty usable, as we saw from EU, but Bebop isn't carrying the same level of power that he was pre-patch. I think Bebop was probably got some of the worst end of the patch as far as like his overall power levels right now. So I don't know if melee creeps is necessarily angling for it, because you still have all the playmaking ability, but you also don't have the raid boss ability with Bebop that you kind of had in the pre-patch.
It makes sense. He's a smart guy, Puckett.
So brainy. So handsome. He's taking vitamins now. You see his skin.
That's why Tanner was bullying him.
Mina is in on the other side. We've got a door person, and we're about to find out who else is getting banned. So no Wraith. All the ladies are just getting bodied. Vindicta's out. We've got a pocket gone and a page gone. So what does that leave us with, ZP? What are you doing here with pick number 7?
For melee creeps, it's interesting you grab the pocket ban, because that's really being like, Ido, we don't want you to play pocket even at this point. You also grabbing the Mina is kind of anti-Ido. Paradox, Old Faithful, and I mean, it could also be Ido playing it. You go to his like old school like list of Schmovement heroes, as it were. Bunny with Clock, though,
too.
Yeah, I think for Bunny with Clock, I would be shocked if one of the next two heroes didn't involve a Page. Like, you could Page Billy Lane. Page in general is still really good, unless they just don't like the hero. But they grab Mo as one of the picks.
They've got Abrams, Mo, and Billy. My God, this is a pretty tanky lineup. It is chonky. I feel like,
Does it require a lot of souls to keep it afloat, or what is the downside of being chonky?
I mean, oh my God, it got even chonkier. It got chonkier.
The chonkiest.
I feel like if you're picking like a Dino or Lash into this, like something, because this front line is very catchable. At least that's how it feels to me.
The downside of building like this chonky is that you're giving up options in terms of either playmakers, or you're giving up options in terms of support or carry, like effectively. And right now, the thing that they're really low on is that where's their main amount of like actual just damage in the late game? You got no Wraith, you got no Infernus, you got no Ivy. You got Calico coming in for melee creeps apparently, but you know, for melee creeps, they can rely on the Mirage here. For Bunny with Clock, I mean, I don't know, unless they grab an Ivy here at the very end.
Was the very first character banned. Was that a joke ban from EU, or is 7 an actual threat? Because I haven't seen him in 12 weeks.
Wow.
It's a Dynamo. Is that even more beef? Walk me through this, DDK. I haven't seen Dynamo outside of 2 games.
So I actually think Dynamo is actually in a really good place. He just got a slight nerf to the Kinetic Pulse, which is the knock-up ability, which, I mean, it's still very good because he can, with the right itemization, get those out really, really quickly. Dynamo is just, I think, a very strong support in terms of what he can offer in terms of like healing. Like his mobility can be really nice. You can use like a Veil. There's like multiple ways you can land the ult with like a Veil Walker or getting a Warp Stone later. So there's a lot of utility for Dynamo in like these. Okay. And also it's very good laning, I think, right now as well. Because he has good sustain and good CC. So Dynamo, I think, can aid the tempo that this draft is clearly gonna be having here. Because if I'm not mistaken, ZP, Bunny O'Clock, they gotta tempo the hell out of this game.
They do, and also, I mean, look, some people look at this and be like, oh, in terms of House 1 carry, they got Warden. I don't think Warden is on the same level right now in terms of that particular role as something like a Mirage really. So I think late game melee creeps look a lot better. And you're right, the name of the game here is tempo. I think Bunny with Clock, like, they have to win lanes, they have to be in your face, they have to maintain a lead. If it gets even in late game, I think they actually just lose to melee creeps here, barring like the singularity of the gods. I really don't like this draft from Bunny with Clock, and as a result, I'm going full Jake. I'm putting everything on melee creeps this round for my channel points.
Thick Picks and Tiny Chicks was a YouTube name for BWC. On the other side, we've got melee creeps. Anything creative, chat? What do you got for a Calico, Kelvin, Paradox, Doorman, Shiv, and Mirage? Leftovers? DDK, is this a powerful comp? How do we feel about this?
Yeah, I think melee creeps comp is great. I think they've got a bit of everything that they need. And I think the Kelvin as well is going to be especially... I think that's going to be really hard to play against the Bunny Clock. I think the Frozen Shelter should actually be really, really good at denying the tempo game that Bunny Clock kind of needs. But again, you know, I mean, what do they have for like? They just don't have great picks. I'm just like, is there a way that they can like deal with like some of this? But I'm like, no.
I mean,
It's just a bad draft, yeah?
realistically, for Bunny with Clock, you're hoping you bully your lanes with the fact that, like, I think Abrams and Billy is still probably really, really good as far as frontline goes. You hope that Aiden just goes sicko mode on the Mina, gets ahead of the game, and yeah, I think for Bunny Clock, win lane phase and continue winning is kind of where they're at. If this goes late or it's like evenly contested, I think they just lose to melee creep. So they have to just come out of the lane phase, guns blazing.
Chat, we are experts. We know exactly how this game plays out after the new patch that dropped during the last game that we were playing in live broadcasting. Here we go. It is our NA Grand Finals. We've got Melee Creeps taking on Bunny with Clock. Our players are just about ready. One more time, ZP. I know there's going to be a lot of talk about the patch and everyone forgetting what the 2 screens were. So do you think we should bring them up one more time? What were the biggest changes that you noticed as a player that you would need to take into this next game?
Well, I think the number one, if we're talking about the draft here, Infernus was not picked, was not banned in this game. And that's because people are scared about what happened with his afterburn changes. That's number one. If you're talking about the hero changes, then you're talking about everything else. Look at the junglers. The junglers are not going to be going through this quick at all. The jungle has been slowed down. You move slower. They take longer to kill. And I'm curious about what that does to the flow of the game.
And of course, we take a look at some of the walkers. The mid boss now plus 15% bullet resistance, minus 15% HP. So, DDK, does that mean we see more spirit damage? Does it just take longer? What are the expectations for a noob like me?
I think the direction Valve or Yoshi's trying to move the game in is just making it more to reward better macro more, and also the rolls a bit more, so that when you get itemized, you can't just like get it, like any hero can't just get into the jungle immediately and start farming like crazy. That these decisions have to be a bit more intentional. And I think that that's actually something that can help to potentially balance the game a little bit more, because in the early to mid game, you're not going to be able to as effectively steal jungle. You're not going to be able to as effectively, when you're ahead, start farming up your own jungle, because you're going to need more specific heroes that are able to do it at the earlier timings of the game. So I think there's like a fundamental kind of shift in the way that you're going to have to build your comps and the way that this balancing actually works. So I think it seems like the way the game's been moving.
Glowing Hay says, Yoshi playing less this month, or why the low effort? Hey, bud, quit being a jerk. How many updates has he given you? He's helped us out mid-tournament. He's the man. You wouldn't be playing Deadlock without him, and neither would Melee Creeps and Bunny with Clock. We're jumping into game number 1. It's your NA Grand Finals. Will the cat suit, or will it be the rabbit with the Rolex? We send it over to ZP on the mic with TDK.
All right.
Hello.
We are into it here, Dan, and we'll see who's going to come out ahead. Also, no bias here. I did full Jake, so I may be in the poorhouse if Melee Creeps don't win with this draft. Channel points.
You went all in?
I did, yeah.
That's my guy, Zeep.
The bad life advice, by the way, just in general. But
yeah. Why go half-ass? Just go all in. You got this.
Yeah.
It depends on your push-fold equity, okay? Sometimes it's good to go all in.
Well, take a look at the lanes here. Middle lane looks to be just pure demon time for Melee Creeps, where you got Mirage in Paradox. And yeah, I mean, Warden Abrams is no slouch on the other end, but the poke coming out here for Melee Creeps is unreal. And a lot of this lane is going to be dependent, Dan, on, can Tanner find a pin?
Yeah, I have to double check that. If you just kind of interchangeably using the name Tanner for Abrams, or if it was actually Tanner playing Abrams this time, because that's where my head's at. I call Abrams Tanner in Europe, the European broadcast now.
Yep. But in this case, it is actually, in fact, Tanner.
Yeah.
Right-hand side, we didn't even talk about a draft, but the old favorite, Kelvin Shiv, definitely brought low in power relative to where it used to be, but still seen as formidable up against Billy Dynamo. Like, actually, the Billy Dynamo is a reasonable shout in that lane. Like, Dynamo beat a Shiv Kelvin lane once today. Going back to you.
Yeah. I actually played like 10 Dynamo games recently, and I genuinely feel like Dynamo is really good right now for multiple reasons. I actually think that Dynamo, for example, is actually depending on how you build them, there's a build that Together has out at the moment that you guys can use, which is really nice. And that's like, because of the way that the investment works and how you can kind of spread the items across Dynamo, he can become like very mobile, very tanky, and very like high damage, and you can just like wave clear very quickly with the kinetic pulse and rotate very, very quickly. So there is, I think, a lot of utility to Dynamo outside of his ult, which is obviously, that was the problem always. So that was his major impact and contribution. So I think, you know, we're going to see some good stuff in the early laning phase. I'll be curious to see what the build looks like, if it's going to try to lean more into the more diverse investments, so that we get that 4,800 across the board quicker, or if we'll see something more support specific.
I just think the main thing for Dynamo right now is that, like, so much of the game, especially on the high end, is not having a miserable lane phase. And Dynamo for a long time was just in the, okay, my lane phase is bad. The lane phase is a lot more tolerable now for Dynamo, so you can justify running him at different comps and, you know, potentially get into some of the later game states where, you know, things could be better. But speaking of lane phase right now, and taking a look at mid, Tanner and Pashi Pop definitely having to play a little bit more defensively against some of the poke coming in, courtesy of Mirage and Paradox. DMB and Scout keeping up the pressure. Left-hand side, we haven't really talked about too much here. The Doorman Calico lane, not a lane that I could say we've seen here today, because we haven't seen Calico today, but, you know, up against Mina Mo, which, you know, a lot of firepower from Mina, and the Mo's just, you know, there.
Good old Mo. Yeah, Billy's still impressive. So the other thing actually about Billy as well, is Billy's damage is, his gun damage is really respectable. It's one of the reasons why he, you know, went so high up in this current meta. It's just that he benefited so much from that. And obviously being able to have, with the blaster, be able to like reset the amount of bullets that you have and just get the instant reload. This makes it like a pretty huge damage threat early in the game. So I feel like they do have what they need to tempo this one out, ZP, but we just have to see if in practice it's going to work out against like a team as good as Melee Creeps. You kind of know, they're going to see this comp and they know what they have to do to basically get into their win condition and away from their opponents.
I mean, Melee Creeps, look, they want to let DMB get large and take over the game. And also, I mean, you talk about, you know, part of the reason why Melee Creeps have been doing well, a huge reason is that DMB, probably one of the most improved players all of Deadlock, usually been on Infernus in recent times, but Mirage, an old favorite, as swing and a miss in here from Arctic, off on the right side. But right there is Dynamo for the extra healing, so it's a pretty durable lane between the two.
Yeah, it certainly is. And okay, the buff was won by Fishcake. So this is a very scary fight to be having as Billy right now. Billy will be getting away, or trying to. Okay, doesn't look like it's going to work out. There's that Ice Beam. That Ice Beam is so tricky to deal against, especially when there's a Shiv on your heels. And so this lane is looking very nice right now for Melee Creeps. And it kind of feels like that. Just going for the buff there, it just kind of felt like that play needed to be aborted, ZP, because that's actually really lost them a lot of lane priority.
Yeah, also, I mean, the buffs early on, I mean, have impact, but I also don't love giving up a ton for them early on, especially, you know, depending on the buff. Like, yeah, it got changed a little bit, but, you know, early movement buff probably isn't worth giving up souls or otherwise in lane in most situations. Well, always a little bit variable, but yeah, as, you know, time goes on, you know, off the rotations, Money with the Clock was able to shore up some of the mid lane. You know, you had Aiden off in middle for a period of time. Now it's still in middle, so it may be a full swap that's what's going on here, where you have the Mo Mina that is full changed into mid lane. Warden now off to the left. I think Abram's probably going off left too. So Bunny with Clock doing a little bit of a rare pivot here, Dan.
Yeah. See if it works out for them. Aggression coming on through here for Melee Creeps, looking to respond. They will fall off. And there we go. There is a visitor to the hotel. Look how fast he moves. Tanner, big boy. But he can jump. Okay, he's getting cut up, though, by the Calico. Slashed to pieces. And John on the doorman. Instead of an Ido. And doorman is definitely a hero that's seen, I think, just over time, just increasing priority because of how bloody good he is and just unique his abilities are.
I mean, the thing that Doorman gives you, I mean, not only is his early game laning still pretty darn good, especially going more the spirit build with a focus on call bell, but For Doorman, you also get a lot of unique play opportunities, both around Urn and mid-boss, that you don't really get anywhere. I mean, you think to the EU Finals where Dimov was able to put the dagger into the heart of Leviathan with the door play. It was just, ridiculous in off the mid. But DMB just gets kind of run down in mid here, this time courtesy of Tanner, way behind the Guardian. Doesn't really care.
Okay, 730 Guardian found. And that is for Melee Creeps' favor on the row side. In the meantime, this left side is also going to be going down. And we talked about a tempo draft here from Bunny with Clock. They're the ones getting tempoed against at the moment. So their major win condition is not panning out all that well in their favor at the moment. And we get a very specific effort blasting down this mid Guardian from Melee Creeps. They're going to be able to get to the left side very soon as well. This game could suddenly start to get out of hand if Melee Creeps continue to keep the pressure on.
I think one of the key bellwethers to look at here for Bunny with Clock, for me, it would be Aiden. And Aiden being sub 6k is rough because if you don't have an impact on Mina in the early game, you're rarely going to get to the raid boss stats that we saw Sanya get to in the EU match, right? Like, Mina ideally is like one of the bigger snowball heroes in the game that can use a snowball and maintains a money lead over people. If your early lane goes bad and you're fighting from behind, it's difficult to actually get far ahead. So I think that's warning sign number one for Bunny with Clock right now. The upside is that Poshi's getting rich, but I do think Warden is still back in the state where Gun Warden is viable, but you do have to be ahead of the game to really have it sing. As 5 gifted in from Anson. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Made it sultry for you.
Yeah,
there's the dome. Dome on the bridge. And this is where Bunny and Clock are looking to strike back, looking to take the fight to their opponents here, but they're not finding what they're looking for. And this is largely because they kind of need to rely on the combo for lockdown. So if you don't get that, you're kind of in trouble. There we go. Charge comes through. And the other form, I suppose, of initiation. Tanner's going to get taken out quite rapidly, though. And these fights are not panning out. ZP, this game doesn't seem like it's panning out.
No, there's something very bizarre just happened with Tanner getting warped mid-Baroness and just wondering what is going on. I was also wondering what was going on. I was like, wait, what actually just happened in that entire exchange? If Tanner doesn't know, well, frankly, I don't know, not having the full overall perspective. But, we'll leave that one to the review later. As Mina up at the top nearly gets hit by the cart, still getting hit damage post Nox Nostra. Doorman, John in hot pursuit, looking to put Aiden into the ground, but there's Tanner in off of the veil. Gonna stymie a little bit of John's chase right now. He's just go up to a still well-placed door.
And that's why we love Doorman. Somehow Aiden escapes. Very, very slim escape indeed. Well, I mean, souls-wise, things look even, but the problem is the tempo, the pace, the initiative is being dictated purely by Melee Creeps. And we have the urn now being couriered across to the deposit spots. And it doesn't look like there's all that much to stop this either. So this looks to be an urn. And is there any counterplay from Bunny with Clock is a question. And they do have the Guardian on the left side. They still need the Guardian in the mid as well. So at least there's that, but you're starting to get some small advantages here now for Melee Creeps.
Also, can we get some cam on Poshi there? I just saw it briefly on the item build, but Poshi went really, really early bullet lifesteal. Now, this is kind of an interesting Warren build. So he's saving up. He can get 6k item. Is this going to turn into like the world's fastest Vamp Burst rush? Like, I don't...
Must be, yeah.
Like, I want to see what item's about to get bought here, because this is interesting as far as I progress. Okay, it is a super early Spell Slinger rush, which...
You what, mate?
I mean, it's good on Warden. He went max flask also, so the goal is going to be spam flask, get high bullet rate out, and then probably, I would guess, like, get a pretty earlier Vamp Burst if you're showing bullet lifesteal this early, so... This Warden build, I mean, look, we'll see if it's cooking or it's cooked, one way or another.
Interesting, and just going for the max tier creeps as neutrals as well. That's, as you guys can see, it's pretty hard to kill these. at this time in the game, especially as Warden, especially since we kind of buffed them a little bit as well. Is this even time efficient?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering right now. I'm just sitting here wondering, is this actually good? Like, normally for creep builds, people don't spend a ton of time hitting tier 3s early in the game. Like, it's more efficient to go for your tier 1s and your tier 2s and save tier 3s for, cultist or when you can murder them quickly. Now, none of that seemed particularly quick for Pashi, but it also may be a crime of opportunity while you're waiting for waves or thereabouts. Like, there's, like, a more enhanced calculus that goes into it, but it didn't feel good.
I guess that is the thing with Spellslinger too, though. I mean, you just have to pump abilities, and Warden has everything on except on low cooldowns, more or less, for the most part. So I guess you could just give it a go. I don't know. We're finding out. We're finding out. But obviously, there's going to be some method to the madness here. I would be curious to check in and see what the Dynamo build looks like when we get there as well. It's only 10k souls at this point, but it's obviously it might be enough to start to see how it's taking shape. Okay, so it's a regen, extra charge. So this is just very typical stuff. You got the slowing hex as well, which is really nice. If you catch someone in the kinetic pulse, they're not going to be able to get away, and you can just chain kinetic pulses on them, and you can just essentially just chase down anyone with this. We'll see. We'll check in later again and see what else we get, but definitely looking perhaps more of a supportive Dynamo. Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, this is also in terms of, hey, the item just changed. Let's mess around, find out. Okay, I'm looking at Tanner. I'm seeing the express shot being looked at here.
Interesting.
I mean, I feel like the math on that could be quite good for quite a few heroes now. Hey, we'll see. I got no initial feelings, good or ill. I mean, I just need to see the data. But, hey, you're in a best-of-3 series. You got one game to burn. You got a charge that doesn't quite hit on the DMB, who's just going to back on out. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, we've got 19k farm for Poshy Pop, so he is ahead of the game in terms of farm. So I'm super curious to see if he can take over the game with Warden. And so Dynamo, if he gets like the healing booster and what are the drums called? I always forget what they're called. They are called...
What was the full question again? I was quickly catching up.
They're like healing drums. What are they called? Oh my god.
Healing drum.
Healing tempo. Healing tempo.
Oh, healing tempo. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I missed the initial context. Like, you're talking about item, or are you talking about the souls? Like, yeah. I mean, healing tempo definitely good in Heroes of Wine. Okay, just a quick walk up combo. Abrams here. Wait, it's fine. The charge comes in. The MB's out of it. More than enough, and you get the buff. So. MB went for the raw walk-up buff and ran into a welcoming party.
You are all bearing witness to perfection.
There might be a ZP. I'm starting to believe maybe there's something to this. I'm actually starting to believe 21k on the Warden now. So, you know what? Can we delete the part of the VOD where I questioned Poshy Bob?
No. They just stay on there because it may not be the wrong thing. Let's see where Poshy's build is at, though. I mean, it was a really early spell slinger rush, which I think in theory can work out. I mean, Warden. It's part that. It's also, I mean, Poshy is a little bit Geist-pilled, and like Warden and Geist are basically two main heroes of the game that will like to run spell slinger with Malice and Flask respectively. But Frozen Shelter is out, and Poshy Pop has an icy demise. I can save you from that.
Yeah, what can you do? There's not much you can do against that. All right, so the pressure onto the Walker will continue. And these Walkers did get nerfed a little bit in terms of health pools. Okay, so this is looking really good right now for melee creeps on the Assault. Getting another pick off as well, and the Walker comes their way too. And in the meantime, they're going to be trading out the Walker on the left side. So it's not something for nothing, it's something for something. Something of equal value, even. But the mid Walker, that position is going in melee creep's favor. So they're going to come out ahead of this one on ZP. I think they're going to be feeling pretty good about this. They only have one more Walker. They're a Walker ahead, our melee creeps, and they're falling back onto farm the rest of the map. And they're carving out a slight advantage again. But what do you see as being the difference maker here?
I mean, right now, I think melee creeps are working at a pretty big edge, unless Poshy hard carries more than expected on the Warden, or Gibbs lands a big singularity, which is always a threat when you have Dynamo. Like Dynamo, yeah, even going to the hero select, like the most basic of descriptors, you know, Dynamo has clutch written in there, and it's for a reason. I mean, Dynamo doesn't want more game-changing abilities, but if Melee Creeps plays properly, I think they're working at a pretty reasonable advantage. Also, the other problem, too, is that you talk about things you could use to deal a singularity. I mean, John, if he's playing out of the fight, you save luggage cart. Things are a little bit rough, but I need to see Pashi's build again. Like, I need to get the blow-by-blow update on how the Warden build is going at the moment. I require it, Dan.
All right. Strong cue. You might be hinting at something. I'm not sure what it is. Fight underground by the secret shop. Oh my god, everyone getting shoved into the bathroom tiles as the escape is then made. And looks like Bunny Clock will be able to disengage successfully from that one without losing anything. And the mercantilism will continue. Items purchased. Everyone's happy.
Pretty early crippling headshot. I mean, not entirely out of bounds for a Paradox, but a little bit more team focus. Okay, the Vamp Burst comes in. I was, with how early Bullet Lifesteal came in, I thought it may even come in a little bit earlier, but, you know, Vamp Burst, another core item for Warden overall. Okay, look at the rest here. Debuff Remover into Hollow Point. So the rest of it is, you know, bog standard bullet stuff with QSR over Active Reload. Active Reload actually kind of fell off for a lot of builds. Like, now that people try and be a little bit more evenly balanced, I feel like a lot of the heroes that used to go Active Reload, if they could go QSR, they go QSR now.
I mean, the upgrade into the Mercurial Magnum as well is really nice. Yeah. So I prefer that myself as well. And okay, we get a pick off found against Cool Cheese on the right side, and Dynamo is out of position. It's going to be able to TP away, and Bunny Clock are able to collect themselves around this mid position now. So looks like we do have Melee Creeps looking to reposition to defend this mid area. No walker pressure can happen, but at the same time, Doorman is going to get caught. John, but able to escape because he's Doorman.
I just think, you know, Bunny with clock, right now it's more like Bunny on the clock, where they actually do need to make something happen here. They can't... Right now, of the two teams, Melee Creeps is actually fine to just sit here and be like, la la la, grab our jungle, grab waves, go from there. The longer it goes, the happier they are. And I think part of the problem here is that in terms of pick potential, Bunny with Clock isn't running normal pick heroes for the most part. Like, they have Mo, they can run someone with Mo, but that is their main play to get things happening. Like, short of that, it's going to be a stagnant game, which Melee Creeps is really okay with on the whole.
Yeah, forcing action is going to be hard. The urn is one of those places they can do it. And on the rooftops, as both teams try to position around the urn, they're going to get an engagement. And it's a good catch coming from Bunny with Clock. They get the initiation they're looking for, trying to get a catch on the Paradox. There's no finishing. A shot's found, though. Able to escape his scout. But lots of players low. These are squishies hit from Melee Creeps, so they're getting found and isolated by these massive, tanky, chonky heroes on the chase down. Here comes the Billy. Gets sent to the hotel, and he's going to be able to get his way quickly out of there. But Doorman is going to be away in the meantime. And there's still a skirmishing around this position, as the urn is the prize for whoever manages to win this battle. And so far, here comes Poshy Pop in full strength, full spell slinger, gets carted away, as does Tanner, but still, Fish Cave will fall. The pursuit's good. And Bunny Clock, a couple picks, not looking too bad here, but on the re-engage, Ido is causing problems, EP.
Yeah, and also Bunny Clock completely drained on ultimates at this point. Tanner down on the end. The re-engage from Melee Creeps here, really doing quite well overall. Poshy Pop still a threat, you know, no ult, no problem when you're full Gun Warden, but at this point, with the 3 you have left, I think you want to get out of there. So, again, I think the problem here, Dan, is that this is another fight that ends up being a bit of a wash. Like, the main objective advantage that you get here for Bunny with Clock is that you get urn control, which is fine. Like, you have a window here size, not going to have Frozen Shelter, maybe you force that, but you still need to get an advantage while you have the chance.
Oh my god. We got Glass Cannon, Lucky Shot, Doorman. John is full gun build, ZP. He is the gun carry in this game.
John is usually... He's gun pilled to begin with. On, like, a lot of the stuff he plays, like, you know, when he plays Bebop, if he's not full tank, gun. Plays Warden, gun. plays doorman. God, John is just it's a guy with like the square peg. It doesn't really matter what the size of the hole is. He's like, yeah, it's gun.
My boy like to shoot.
You do like to shoot. It's the engineer in him, but okay, Scout gets caught here. The singularity is used. It's a 2-kill singularity. Gibbs gives his life for it. Is it gonna be enough of an advantage though for Bunny with Clock? DMB plugging away here in the back line. A little bit tenuous even as melee creeps down 1. Earn still able to be grabbed here as Bunny with Clock evaluates the situation.
I mean, this is still a close game in terms of the souls. Still very close, but this is where things could change here. This fight into the mid boss for Bunny with Clock. Are they going to fake this one out? Yes, I'm not sure. No, are they going for it? Okay, we have a potential contest. They're still going for it. They know that the fight's coming. Here's the Nox Nostra used on the enemy incoming heroes looking to try to siege into this mid boss. And is this a mistake from melee creeps? We'll have to find out as the fight continues in the pit. Mina trying to duck around cover, basically playing Counter-Strike at this point as the rest of the team comes in, swarming around the mid boss. They are going to force the issue. They're going to force the Rejuve crystals to fall from the sky as melee creeps are chased away from this one. Is there a way to deny this? It doesn't look like it. John is stuck out of the pit, and it is Tanner holding down the stairs like the true bouncer that he is.
Big. You need the zone out John to avoid any shenanigans. You're able to do that and then some. You end up with 2 rejuves at the end. I mean, you got 3 rejuves, but one got immediately burned. Tanner, a little bit of danger here. Okay, Mo might be losing one of those rejuves and his life thereafter. Everyone's just like, guys, did we forget something? Down in mid-boss. Oh crap, where's Mo? He's dead. Mo and Krill are dead, and they might be getting some more. I mean, the tail end of this fight actually pretty darn good for melee creeps. All rejuves are down, and it's just fighting in the corridor of death. Paji can't get away. It's a shooting gallery. Bunny Clock now maybe about to turn it the other way around, but melee creeps got a lot of value out of this corridor fight, and they're not stopping as Ido's back in. Return the shadow up over. Bunny with Clock just getting grounded the Pope in this corridor.
I don't have any words for that, ZP. That was, it looked like Bunny Clock were in such a good spot, and then they were like, let's re-engage. And they just, the calculation was not there. The math was wrong somewhere in the equation. Because look at the damage. John was just basically sat there, just basically full, just shooting everybody with just impunity.
Dan, I'm just imagining someone being like, guys, you gotta watch Deadlock Night Shift. You know, Deadlock is like this awesome game with like so much mobility for a shooter, so much freedom of expression, you know, ways to fight. And then the first team fight they see is like, now let's all go this hallway and get fucked up. Like, let's go. It's like, oh, okay. Well, either way, you know, it ends up working out for melee creeps despite the way it started being bad with them losing all 3 rejuves.
Well, okay, still a recovery. Like you say, you know, it's only an 9k difference, and there's no rejuves on the board after all was said and done. So still plenty of opportunity, one would think. But the problem is that it is getting worse, kind of to the note that you were describing previously. As the longer the game goes on, the better melee creeps are going to be just based off of the comp. The damage is going to be too oppressive at a certain point.
Yeah, and I mean, I think unfortunately the going back for Mo play, but like Bunny with Clock actually could have just like Cool Cheese die. Like you just like Cool Cheese die there, you still leave with rejuves, you get to replan and go out. Now you're down in souls, the scaling isn't in your favor. I do think that last mid-boss engagement might have been the last good attempt here for Bunny with Clock, unless they're able to pull a rabbit out of their hat and hey, getting Scout, that's step 1.
They're making a play for the urn as well. So I have to revisit that conversation because it is a full-out team fight. You got John in the back there, as well as the Mirage Seismic Snap. Look at how much health he's losing. He's trying to get out, man. Just leave him alone. The Tanner is the one getting bullied here. He's just going to be stuck in the house, but his teammates are able to rally around him to keep him alive for the time being. And it's going to be a re-engage here for the rest of the team. Poshy Pop leading the way on the Warden, unable to find anyone in the cage, but look at those bullets. They do so much damage. It seems like cheating. He's cheating.
Nah, just late game Warden here. Next step up going to be crippling headshot. And I mean, look, Warden does quite a bit at this level of farm. Is it as good as, say, Mirage on the other end? Like, no, DMB is likely pumping more damage, but Earn right now looking to be had for Bunny with Clock. Tanner able to sacrifice a lot of his life, gets the Earn turn in, but the rest of this fight, I mean, melee creep's still keen to fight, but they lose John Arctic able to jump over. Scout going to be a little bit late off the death. So 5 on 6, if it continues, it's kind of spread out. You got some on the rooftops, you got some here in the secret shop, and now the teleporter play is, who knows what's going on? Well, Ido's shooting. That's what's going on.
Yeah, it seems like the damage is incredibly oppressive. They have to just lock down and just target fire players really precisely. Bunny with Clock have to just navigate this scenario. So, yeah, very challenging indeed. But even on the Souls overall, and just one objective behind in the Walkers, mid-boss is not too far away from respawning.
176k, the 172k. I mean, well, say is that the last engagement between getting the urn and getting the picks. I mean, Bunny with Clock does keep it a little bit closer. Again, the scaling isn't really in their favor, but in terms of pulling all the levers you need to pull to make this contestable for Bunny with Clock, they're doing the right thing. I think the shot calling overall, minus the throw by mid boss, has been pretty sublime for Bunny with Clock.
I do agree that they have done a great job. Like they have managed to endure very effectively into the where we are now, which is basically the late game. And just looking across the heroes here, and I feel like it's a hard life if you're Mina. I feel like it's very easy to get shut down and just instantly deleted now by, you know, any number of heroes, just due to the low health pool.
Well, she enjoys the high society. We saw Mina when her trust fund is fully stocked earlier today when Sanya played it, and this is more the you know, the 2025 economy Mina that we're looking at the moment. You know, things are a little bit leaner. You know, she questions whether or not she should actually get that burrito bowl later in the week. But yeah,
She's been cut off by her dad. She's been cut off.
Well, the dad lost all his money in a crypto scheme. It is rather tragic, but also maybe tragic here. Billy on the verge of getting caught, gets the luggage cart from Doom after the carbine, and that's a big old bag that John just gobbled up.
Is ready to help us.
This is rather large. And there is that crippling that you mentioned earlier that is now in play on John. Can't really get too many more. Like, can I? As always, more, I suppose.
There's always more.
Just get Spellslinger. Get Spellslinger, why not?
Spellslinger on Doorman is a little bit more ambitious of your options here. Plated armor, by the way, you know, as gun items become more in the vogue, seen a lot more plated armor get bought, which is fair. I mean, you wouldn't really want to buy plate armor when most of the damage in the game is spirit. It didn't really make much sense, but nowadays you can justify it.
You know what's interesting is that Mendicrews haven't really put too much emphasis on trying to take this left walker down. I think they are trying to just time the game out, ZP. I think it's exactly what you're saying, where they take less risks getting, you know, picked off and just ensure that the game goes long, and they know they'll eventually win. And they're going for the mid boss.
Ooh, and okay. I think for them, they also could force it a little bit with Doorman, but oh, they're doing the Doorman play. It's a full-on Doorman play, so they make the boss scream. They go at the John door. Have they caught anyone dead to rights? Everyone Bunny with Clock actually looking really healthy. I think they realized that the fake was underway, but still, you got the pursuit. A knife to Mina's neck. And now, right now, into the combo. The turn here from Bunny with Clock. Is the combo be good enough? It gets one off the rip. They get DMB, actually. The biggest pickoff they can get. A big counter engage here from Bunny with Clock. Fighting in the frozen shelter, though. Fish Cake on off. Able to get in on the execute. Singularity has been used. Both teams down one. Saya looking real low towards the end of the fight. Pashi Pop down the half. And now, are both teams looking to disengage a little bit? Fishcake gets Pashi in off the execute, and this is where late game Shiv starting to come to play, even though Fishcake is about to go down himself.
Yeah, this is looking very sketchy right now, and like, again, John's just in the back doing a consistent damage, uninterrupted. I just love that he has Fury Trance as well. Okay, so big win from melee creeps, and they can finish off the mid boss now, and this is where you would expect the game to really get away from Bunny with Clock. No challenge available for this mid boss for the rejuves. I mean, no ults. Only 2 players left. I don't know why they're even near the mid boss here, CP. I don't know why Mina and the Dino are even near.
Yeah, that's actually these are fair questions, Dan. Actually, I'm saying it's like, no, maybe no. You have a Dynamo with no ult, and you have a Mina that isn't rich. Like, probably don't want to be there.
Shallows refreshed.
Like, the most you could do is you could body check and get one rejuve charge out at the cost of your life, which, even then, like, getting one charge isn't the highest probability in that situation.
That is true. Oh, I think they just had FOMO. Well, again, there's just no emphasis on taking this left walker down. I mean, the melee crews could have done it or tried to do it ages ago. But they have instead decided, you know what, we just want to keep farming the waves. We want to keep farming the map.
Well, anytime you do a siege, you incur a risk, effectively. Now, that risk is usually mitigated when you have rejuve, so I don't think the left walker is going to survive for much longer, but if your goal is to extend the game and just, neutral farm, keep it even and just, have everyone's soul count goes up, like, you're not under a huge threat to do this unless you need the slot. And, at this point, the slot would be beneficial for melee creep, so they're able to go over, and it's not going to be contested much from Bunny with Clock, because with rejuve up, it just probably wouldn't be that great of an idea.
Is there a world where Bunny and Clock can do much here? Do we have... What's Gibbs' itemization? Does Gibbs have a refresher online yet? I mean, I think around 30k is the point. 30 to 35 is when you could normally get a refresher online in most builds. Do we have a refresher? No, we do not have a refresher. But this is a pretty similar build to one that I like as well.
Yeah, I mean, refresher's kind of interesting because the way a lot of people is like, oh, double alt. Well, the average double alt is almost to win more. If you get a good alt period, that's probably enough. Like, the more utility is that you get 2 chances at the alt, realistically. But, I think at this level of play, the refresher is, not an invalid choice, but isn't always the priority either. Like, you can make really good arguments to build the way that Gibbs is built here, and now it's just a matter of, can you defend the siege with 1:30 left on the region?
Yeah, an unstoppable next would be maybe better, but they are just making sure that they don't get picked off so that the deaths are not staggered. They know they have to concede a certain amount. It's about the minimum resistance to just try to create the maximum delay. That's what they're trying to do right now, but they're eventually going to have to pick a point to fight, and this is going to be that point. Is the engage going to be better for Bunny Clock or for melee creeps? There comes the pull. That's a good one onto the Shiv at the very least. But there are rejuves, 3 rejuves on deck. In comes the Kelvin Dome, and that is going to get the sustain up. The heals are huge here. DMB looking very weak. He's out of the fight, though. He's doing damage from the back, and still 2 rejuves up here as they take it into the pit. And ZP, this might be it.
I mean, when you're going to the enemy fountain and the second stage patron is down, it is absolutely it. Melee creeps. The scaling works out in their favor. They survive. They extend the game. They take down Bunny with Clock for game 1.
35 minutes. That's all it takes for MLC, I should say, chat. Taking 1-0 lead in our best of 3. That was a long one. Are you winded, DDK?
I am the wind, Pocket.
I felt the wind. I liked the breeze. It felt great. As we take a look at some of the highlights, ZP, unfortunately, we're going to lose you for the remainder of the evening as you're finally able to take a game or 2 off. Do you think we go to a game 3, Zeeps?
I think there's a really good opportunity for it, especially with Bunny Clock. They get to reorder their draft, maybe prioritize the Geist. I mean, realistically speaking, I think this game was a little bit of a draft loss for Bunny with Clock. I thought Bunny with Clock, overall, they were making better decisions aside from the throw in mid. Like, I think if they had just said, cool cheese, just die, it's okay, buddy. Like, we're going to have rejuve and go elsewhere. They could have won this game. I think that one bad decision in a draft that didn't scale in the end game was really what, did it for Bunny with Clock. But overall, this is about as even as it gets.
What would you have swapped up if you were BWC?
If I'm BWC, I definitely try to get Pasha on Geist. I don't love the Warden here. Like, I think the amount of farm you put in the Warden versus the actual impact you got was rough. You would have rather have had something like a Mirage or a Wraith. Just one of the more options that do more farm as it is right now. At least I think Wraith. Wraith didn't just get nerfed.
I think maybe after you drop an MVP performance, don't first ban that character you just had an MVP performance on. That's just me, the noob thinking here. But NA strategy is different, DDK. They're thinking on a whole nother plane. What did you like about our winning team, Melee Creeps?
I liked the fact that they did the correct thing. I think they slowed down the game, knowing that, just like, ZP, we were highlighting this the whole time. ZP mentioned it first. All they had to do for their win condition is just survive until eventually they get a higher score discrepancy and the scaling really starts to just go into their favor. And by doing so, they take less risks in terms of getting picked off, and there's not a lot of pick for Bunny with Clock anyway. And then that's the most consistent way to win this game. And that's exactly what they did. And they turned John into a gun carry. And that was also fun to see. And that was actually incredibly powerful, and that was a difference maker. That one rejuve battle where we had the re-engage from Bunny with Clock, which seemed ill-fated, it was largely because of John with the gun build.
John, nice with it. The gun, John. Shout out to everyone who tuned in from around the world. We are just one game into the best of 3. It could be finished if the teams don't clean up their draft after this. Real quick though, as we take a look at the patch notes and how it affected our game, ZP, did you notice the slow at the start of gunfights?
The slow was a little bit hard to notice, but I think it's one of those things after you play the game, you can really get a better sense for it. So, that's on my list for tonight into tomorrow. I think the thing I did notice though is that, the pace of the game did slow down. And I think the jungle change was a pretty reasonable part about that. I mean, obviously we saw the part where Pacha was like, damn, this neutral creep's real hard to deal with. But I do think the fact that this game went long, also part of it was the fact that people just had to spend more time dealing with the jungle than they did pre-patch.
We're only 27 minutes in. I take it back. We're 38 minutes in to the new patch, and we're going on a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring in Jake alongside DDK ZP. So long, fella. We'll see you next episode.
See you next time.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's DDK and Jake joining us. And Jake, you just finished a protein shake because you think that eggs taste like baby chickens. Why don't you eat raw eggs like Rambo?
Eating raw eggs? Like, does Rambo eat a raw egg? That's like a dog eats a raw egg, man.
Just throw it in the blender, bro. Just chug it out. DDK does.
I do that.
See his muscles?
Yeah. I do that. I haven't done it in a while though, but I used to do that. But now I'm like, where did the egg come from? Is it like, because I want those like deep orange yolks,
Ooh,
but I can't afford that.
Fresh guy.
That's expensive.
Yeah, you want that. You want that high quality egg content, good protein.
Europe, you wouldn't know anything about our farm fresh egg system here in North America. Here we've got a battle between the Melee Creeps and Bunny with Clock. It's time to take a look at the Clockers. They're down one map. They need to win this to force a game number 3. And DDK, chat was saying if Gibbs didn't run a Dynamo and instead ran a McGinnis, she would have been a stronger laner and a late game choice. Should the Butch Beast make a return to the main stage?
I'll not have this slander, this Dynamo slander. Dynamo is the one that needs to be picked more. Okay, you got to be picking McGinnis or Dynamo. Okay, and right now people want to pick Dynamo. Let's just like leave it at that. Because if we're trying to fight the Dynamo and the McGinnis of the two people that already don't get picked, why are we trying to live this life where we get to have our
Crabs
cake
in a bucket, just trying to pull each other down?
Can't we just enjoy Dynamo?
Yeah, enjoy the robot galaxy, dude. As we take a look here at the matchup so far, though, Jake, it is Melee Creeps that were able to pull out a 35-minute grueler. Does this one go 35 minutes again? How does the draft shape up? What are your expectations?
Yeah, in the past, I feel like when we've had those like really close game ones, it feels like usually it's hard for the team that lost to like keep the mental fortitude and have such a clean early game in game 2. It feels like sometimes they get a little bit desperate. So I feel like this is the test now for BWC. It's like, can they actually, stay the course in a long series? Like we were talking about this in the last cast, like arguably it's their kind of mistakes around the mid boss and re-engaging into some questionable fights. I feel like the game may have turned in their favor had that mid boss fight not gone awry so, drastically there in the last map. So, I feel like this is definitely a winnable match for them. Like skill level wise, I feel like these teams are very competitive. But will that be sort of hanging over Melee Creep's head, or rather, BWC's head? Like, will they be able to, reset mentally coming into this game? That's going to be decisive.
Thank you, chat, for letting me know the orange eggs come from eating bugs, not grass. They actually don't eat grass, guys. They ingest protein.
I mean,
do the chickens.
free range.
I was totally wrong. DDK, as a farmer, you knew this all along. My bad.
I love a regenerative. Well, I wish I could only afford just all the regenerative farming goods. Okay, it's a lot more expensive, but that stuff is good.
Yes.
Right, everything's very healthy.
You would do well as a homesteader, Dan. I could see you out there
100%.
splitting a log for the winter. You know, building
His
a
cabin
nice
would be so
stockpile
warm,
of
bro.
wood. Yeah.
He'd have
Wood
pelts.
stove in the
Like he'd
corner.
offer you a beaver pelt when you walk in. Like I caught.
Yeah,
that with my teeth.
Are you cold from the journey here, sir?
I
Stay a
was
while.
stewing. We've got a Billy, a Mirage, a Lady Geist did not get banned, but the melee creeps make sure that it is not played by Poshy Pop. So Vindicta going to melee creeps as well. What are we thinking for Bunny with Clock? How do you bounce back from that?
I mean, I don't know if that there's like maybe like a Paradox right now is still a really high prior choice that hasn't gone just yet. I feel like Billy Mirage is an awesome top 2 opener though, right? You give like a really sick frontliner who makes a lot of space, hard to kill, does a lot of damage, and then a really sick backliner, hard to kill, makes a lot of space, does a ton of damage. Like these two are really, I think, winners of the patch right now, and they're gonna follow it up with the Doorman as well. So taking away an option that John made look incredibly OP in that last game.
Do you also run it as a gunman, or is there a different build we should expect here?
I mean, you'll probably see it more hybrids. I would expect. I think that is a bit of John shenanigans. But the Doorman is also like a potentially good deny also from Ido, who also plays a really good Doorman. Obviously Ido can play a lot, but he's got a good Doorman. But now the Geist goes to John. I mean, that's already a big problem. So you got to be thinking about how do you shut that down? Because typically the way that John is going to run that is as a mega carry. And there's going to be a lot of emphasis around that. So you need to have something that can match that. You've got to have solutions that can help the pick against that or disable it.
Jake, was the first round ban on Warden like punishing yourself for your bad choice in the previous game, or was that just like we don't want to show our hand?
I can explain this one actually. The reason you ban the Warden here is that typically Geist is seen as like a Warden counter because Warden gets on top of you with his ult. He's doing consistent tick damage to you, and then you just swap him when you're super low, and then he just dies. So because Warden's often going to be absolutely full HP, and you're about to die on Geist, and then the swap turns the tables completely. So you ban the Warden away because you're not going to pick it yourselves because of that matchup with Geist, and you don't want to let melee creeps have both Geist and Warden and just be like, running you down, mowing you down with these like high damage carries.
See, chat, I knew that all along. Calico is going to be locked in. Your turn.
I think like a pick would be nice. Bebop is an obvious answer, or a Holiday.
Yeah. I was gonna say Mo, but I realized Mo's banned, so no Mo.
Could use some new blood.
Well, they get Mina. This is a pretty squishy team at the moment.
It's a scary Mina game. There's a ton of lockdown
on that
for you.
Mina.
This is scary.
She's been solid today, but still, I'm a little worried about this particular matchup. Melee creeps have a lot of pace and tempo. BWC, some nice end game team fight with the Lash here to potentially make things awkward for melee creeps, who again they're kind of lacking Hearthstones. It's really just Abrams, so you're not going to have the best lockdown for Lash in this game, which potentially could let Lash be kind of a carry.
Infernus is coming through. They're testing the new patch, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to know how Fireboy behaves after the patch? We're about to find out. Observers, you know what to do. Let's follow the Michael Jackson guy. I can hear myself twice on my end. My bad. Let's go into this one though. DDK. We got melee creeps, Bunny with Clock. Who won the draft in your eyes?
So melee creeps definitely have a more balanced draft. I mean, the one really big difference that I see instantly is just a difference in front line. And so Bunny and Clock are going to have to play around that because they lack the front line. And I do think Infernus, even in his current form, is going to be really irritating. Also Vindicta. I mean, also Geist. Maybe also Paradox against the flying heroes of like Mina and Lash. I think that's going to be very difficult for Mina and Lash to have a good game when they're up against all of that easy damage and lockdown.
Yeah, I think Calico is going to be particularly significant for me on melee creeps because I feel like if Calico has a big game here, there's not so much to stop her like from just reaping through the back line. You got this Doorman and Wraith and Mina and Lash. I mean, you got a lot of heroes that don't really want to go toe-to-toe with like a backline assassinator. It's really just Billy who can kind of block that kind of a play. So for Calico, there's gonna be a lot of room to work with, a lot of good targets for you to get on top of. And for the bunnies with clocks, I'm a little worried for how they deal with a player like Ido, as good as he is. If he gets off to a hot start on Calico, he could kind of terrorize this game.
Our players are just about ready. If you are just joining us, we have $600 for the winning team of our grand final. You can add to that grand total by scrolling down, hit that donate button. Any contribution made during tonight's broadcast will be split 50-50 between our EU and NA champions. $600 per region, though, provided by Jake. He opened up the wallet, the night shift wallet. It's not big, but we got some funds in it.
We're doing what we can.
Doing that, right, Jake?
We also had the supporters.
Are we doing a Christmas show? Are we doing giveaways? How's this happening?
We'll see what we do through the end of December. I don't think we're gonna do a show on Christmas. I would probably like to spend Christmas with my family. Dan's committed.
Yeah.
Dan's like, yeah,
Dan and I are coming over to your house. We're gonna do it with your family. It's gonna be a great broadcast.
All right, Mom, come on, let's go.
Did that just scare you a little bit? Like,
yeah, like, yo, Mom, like, yeah, you get on this Deadlock cast. She's like, what the?
Yeah. It's like, here, let me put a little bourbon in that tea for you, lady. I got you. All right. We've got the game going. If you guys are enjoying the show from around the world, let me know. What are you drinking tonight? What are we enjoying while we are watching Deadlock? What are our thoughts on the new patch? And do we go to a 3? Let me know if you think we're going to a game 3. Press the number 3 in the chat right now. If you got a pregnant Viper to go next to your 3, you get bonus points. Melee Creeps Bunny with clock. Ding, ding. Round 2. Let's fight, DDK.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
No, seriously, I want to fight you.
Okay, all right. Let's go.
Sorry, you can catch.
I will mess you up. I'm gonna probably win. If you let me win. Will you let me win?
I took her out pretty quick, let's be honest. But
Nice.
Jake, this guy runs marathons. He wall climbs, rock climbs, all the above. He also likes Infernus.
Wall climbing.
Show us the fire boy.
I want to see how Infernus does this game, because I think Infernus got a nerf that a lot of people were really asking for a long time on this character, which is to say nerfing his raw ability to maintain the afterburn, right? So instead of just one bullet after your afterburn, resetting it to full, now you kind of have to like keep hitting more and more shots to race against the clock and keep the burn on. I do think in the late game, that's not going to matter. In the late game, you're just beaming one player down. But early game in the laning phase, it's going to be a lot harder to maintain long duration burns on opponents.
Can I chime in with something from Lake Karache? Afterburn is still going to be doing 100% more damage than it should be, and will be the strongest damage ability in the lobby by 10,000 damage over anyone else's strongest ability.
You got like a major Infernus hater in the chat. Someone's coping in a big way.
Aww, are those tears? You look salty.
A little Infernus hate. I mean, the character still does incredible damage, especially if you're able to maintain those burns with, you know, all the abilities, all the different ways to reignite players. And then just up into the late game, having that raw damage amp on the napalm is pretty ridiculous. It's one of the only sources of that in the entire game. You can see it's incredibly effective. And man, look at those heals in lane. There's already immense pressure being put on right now by melee creeps in the side lane. Like, they've got the BWC members completely under tower and getting their little bits of poke off here and there every time a wave crashes.
Lash looking for a big ground strike there. Yeah, the base bullet damage changed as well. It's definitely going to make Infernus feel a little bit more flat, that's for sure. But yeah, I do think in the late game it's not going to matter too much. But look at the gank coming on here. Calico just trying to run some boxes. Just want some boxes, bro.
So greedy from him. Should be going down here. Oh, should be, but a reload. Oh, okay. Gibbs does get the cleanup and doing a little bit too much. They were trying to just get every single box on the map. I can't blame Ido for the dominant lane position. Takes a bit of a risk there, but is a good punish from Bunny with clock. And a nice parry here onto Abrams by Aiden is going to keep him in the fight.
And look at that. Regen. The infernal, whatever it is, that regens him. I always forget the ability names. Some of them. It's because I don't play Abrams, really.
Does anybody know Abrams' third skill name? That is like probably the... I don't think I've ever even considered it. It's
Infernal something.
Skill. Infernal Resilience. Oh
yes, we did it.
Slap and tickle.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was a team effort though. That was actually a team effort.
Let's go.
If I know that ability name, I gotta know all of them. That's like the last frontier of ability names.
Do you know all of his? Like, I know the rest. They're pretty easy, I guess, the rest.
What, shoulder charge? I don't even know the name of the book.
The Siphon Life, I think, isn't it?
Siphon Life. Yeah, okay,
I think?
okay.
Or is that Geist? That's Life
a good
Drain.
question.
It's Life Drain.
Yeah.
Geist is Life Drain.
I mean, he's going to need some life drain right now. Very low HP, suffering through that wrecked passive by Billy. So now I'm going to struggle not to just name every single ability I see used on the screen. And I'm realizing how many abilities I'm like, yeah, Mina with umbrella thing. That may or may not be the correct name of the ability.
Rake.
Rake. Oh, yeah. True. Still an umbrella thing in my head, but that's okay. Vin,
I feel like
first
that's
item
better.
suppressor on Vin. I kind of like this, actually. This is when he's doing a point saving build. Saya, he's going for the max assassinate off the rip here.
Oh,
That
you
is
gotta do
gonna be
it.
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a way to snowball a game. End it quick. By the way, John, what the hell is going on there? Geist is 4.1k. He's giga farming on Geist.
Oh my god, that's what he does. That's why you don't want to jump up to be able to get on Geist.
Oh, Rake. Saying a retreat. He has it available if he wants to chase this kill. Oh, great jukes from Vin, but she's juking away around the tower. Not enough. You got to sanguine, bro. Press your sanguine retreat. Okay, maybe he wants to die. Low-key, take the sack.
Well, it's kind of the suppressor's really nice. Oh, hang on, hold the phone. Never mind. So yeah, so because like it's gonna be hard to connect love bites if your attack speed is slowed down like significantly. This makes it really awkward. It can already be a little bit awkward sometimes if you're breaking line of sight constantly. I like it.
I'm gonna pick up a nice little gun buff here. This has been a lot of a very active early game, but Bunny with Glock has been coming away the better for it. All ultimates online, pushing a bit of tempo, a bit of pace. Melee creeps for now. Trying to just defend, trying to weather this storm, but Tanner and Aiden are really getting to work here in this side lane.
It's really nice to have a hero like Billy to play with because he can just really just hard initiate. And I feel like with Mina, if Mina's playing with a hero that is not able to be more active like that, it can be kind of difficult to make stuff happen and get the snowball rolling for yourself. And I feel like when you see these famine games from Mina's, it just always feels like Mina's just her health pool's so low already. She has to be able to do damage. If she can't itemize for it, it sucks.
Yeah, you need to just like kill people before they can actually lock you down. You need to have those really strong games. Oh, he's kind of pulled to the low ground on the Abrams. Only gets the slam down on Billy, who's happy to tank that. So rotating players into this lane. It's good for now, but man, Aiden and Tanner are just not scared. They're continuing to push this tempo, but a big parry onto the Billy, and he's going to get deleted. Mina throws good money after bad, tries to help, and gets cut down. And it's all melee creeps now in the right side lane, maybe even opening that first Guardian despite how low theirs is in the same lane.
I like the attempt from the Mina there. I think she's going for like the all or nothing parry. If you get like the parry there, you maybe like lock down both those heroes and can both escape. But yeah, not going to work out. And that Guardian on the right side is getting quite low for melee creeps at the moment. Again, John 7k souls is still ahead of the pack. So far, nobody close to him on the other team. I guess Poshy Pop slightly. Poshy Pop is the counterbalance for the Geist on the Wraith. The Wraith still really strong in this meta.
It's crazy to me that how just like 180 different NA and EU are playing right now in the game, right? Like NA is playing this like super farm centric game, tons of box maxing, box routes in the early game, feeding a ton of farm here to John in the mid solo. Whereas in EU, we'd have like 6 or 7 players brawling in the mid lane, trying to clear the enemy Guardian first, putting immense pressure on, and like no one even tying to greed. Big Lash ult though over the top, slamming in, takes the Infernus ult to the face, but has done the damage, and the follow-up is good. Wraith jumps in, DMB trying to get out of there with the Flame Dash, just barely enough to get through the Veil and out of trouble, but that's a nice find by Gibbs.
Yeah, that's such a good ult. Yeah, you're totally right, and I think it speaks. I mean, but the first thought with that is, oh my god, I want the international lands so badly in this game. It's so good in the early stages of the game before like the metas kind of globalize a little bit more, which usually tends to happen. One region just gets too ahead. You have lands all the time, and so everyone starts to that becomes the meta.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see when you get these like different innovative looks, especially in a MOBA clashing. Ido though, speaking of clashing, on a 3-kill streak, talked about this potential in the draft, has gone for this early Spirit power spike, has it online now, and is really hitting hard, especially with that ultimate. John, though, left to solo farm this mid, is just cleared a Guardian, all in his lonesome. I mean, he's kind of too strong to contest, given this farm prio you've given to him. Still Bunny with clock. Not mad about the souls for now. Still in a comfortable spot. Small lead, nothing significant, but enough to feel good about how the early game is going.
And one of the things that we can mention too is that Billy before this patch of the last hour, was able to farm Sinners before without losing health, which was one of the things that really helped make him stronger, or so good. And now that just got nerfed. So you know, and I say this because Sinners just came up.
Yeah, so it's gonna be not free for Billy to take them. See if that's enough to dissuade him, though. Still such a valuable resource. And it looks like, I mean, Lash is stealing some Sinners away right now. It might cost them this left side Guardian, but believe it will as it looks to go down. But maybe it was going to go down anyway. And Lash, a nice little bag on his hip. No ulted just yet. And so I think he's going to be all right with that trade. Get a bit of a farm, get a bit of net worth, give up a low HP Guardian. It is what it is. But oh, you don't want to die. I think he might have a bag on him, but he's going to be out for now.
Looks like he's able to get out.
Bro is all spirit, literally all damage. I want to see this explosive burst when he just pops everything on somebody. How much can he do? Torment Pulse as well. So, I mean, Ido full spec right now into just absolutely ganking a backliner. And we talked about this, like the threat for BWC. A lot of light squishies, a lot of opportunity to maybe get on top of him.
There we go. The Bridge Buffs and Sinners coming up. Or not the Sinners, the Urn is coming up. And Melee Creep's going for a straight away. Sire on that one.
This is something we see a lot from the top teams, right? They just wait for the Urn. They're so ready for it.
He's got rapid charge up already.
Yeah, look at this. Almost, yeah, one more point. Desperate for that one last point. Get that ult maxed. And then the kills, I mean, like, you might have a weird build, but right, like, you just find like 1 or 2 snipe kills. And suddenly you're just farmed.
Billy trying to escape up the rope. Brings out the chain though. That's a nice connection. It's ready follow up. Does have some teammates looking to come in for the assist, but the fight's just not good. They have to back away. Timing doesn't work out. Maybe a chance for a re-engage somewhere, but like Lash is actually chasing in mid at the moment by himself. That's the escape that one. In the meantime, the Urn is still in play in favor of Melee Creeps as they look to reroute it around the side lane.
Yeah, now there's a question for Bunny with clock, like, are you going to contest this Urn? I feel like you just have to at this phase of the game. You don't want to give up anything for free, but John is here, and staying around near this Geist is a risk in itself. Still Doorman proving some problems. Abrams comes and contests him on the other side of the door, though he wasn't ready for that shutdown. Fishcake, great read, and the Urn does get dropped. Looks like most of the souls go into the pockets of Melee Creeps. Looking to get some trades back, though. Are Aiden and Tanner now swimming forward, and the rest of Melee Creeps decide it's time to just get out of dodge, but maybe you've already stuck around too long. Snipe is good. Okay, let a farm from Vindicta. That's like 1,000 souls getting that one kill. Kind of makes some of these trades more worth it than they would otherwise be. And Gibbs finds himself deep behind the Walker, taking a lot of counter pressure.
Oh my god.
Oh, the
Finally.
one proc from Arctic. And Lash, like, denying all these exits. He is going to fall for it, but I think his presence there kept some of these low Melee Creeps players in deeper than they would have otherwise liked. Oh my god.
Ooh.
Still, he needs a last hits, right? To get these, like, crazy assassinate souls.
Yep. He does have level 3 now as well, so that's just 800. He was shy of making those 800 extra souls.
Oh, a kill here on Billy would be a massive one. Needs to get that snipe blasted. Coming into the room with the Billy, though. Scary. And they need some help. I mean, hey, even guys. Oh, one more shot. And once again, not going to get the last hit. Parry from Tanner. Oh my god, he's living on no HP, but Saya is going to clean it up. And all right, I mean, the souls are coming in. Like, Vin is starting to get farmed. He's like 1 or 2 more of these snipe kills. As we got a Baroness here locking down DMB, who's a little bit of an awkward card timing. So DMB actually may be able to fight this way out of this. I mean, Tornado is used. DMB turning this one around. I don't know that Mirage can stand toe-to-toe with this. The Napalm does miss, though. And a full stacks. Oh my god, took an 8-stack proc from the Mirage passive, and I spoke too soon. Ido's there to trade it out, but Arctic gonna be all right with that one.
Knocks on straight over the top here as well as the fight continues, the skirmish continues. And this is very out of position here. Scout is absolutely dead.
Oy, oy, oy.
So dead. So dead.
It's in a rock in a hard place. Here comes Ido though. Torment Pulse, look at him getting on top of the Mina. She just barely has the ability to come out of this chain. Can't quite break. Now Ido in trouble. Does a lot of damage himself. That Torment Pulse hitting. So Billy, not so sure he wants to just hard chase that kill.
So finally we get a breakaway of this like very extended skirmish over the last couple of minutes. And almost ready for another run, which was what actually started that first very long skirmish across the map. In the meantime, you know, Arctic actually farmed up that left side Guardian whilst the urn was initially getting dealt with earlier. So looking to try to equalize. But there is still the mid Guardian up right now for melee creeps. So that is going to be a big priority, I would imagine, for Bunny with Clock to try to deal with. And it is being very well protected. There's 4 players around the mid position that can respond to defend that mid Guardian. So they're going to make it as annoying as possible. Our melee creeps.
Yeah, a lot of presence in this mid lane. I mean, we've seen the value, the dividends that a late held mid Guardian can pay, right? It keeps that shop available, which is like such an accessible shop on the map for everyone, which is actually, for me, a pretty big deal. Here comes Knockdown onto Billy, slowing X as well. They're putting a ton of damage onto him, but he's so tanky and fighting in a small room. I mean, this is exactly the kind of fight that Billy wants. Dash is out for now and maybe just escaping into this one. Boundless online right now for Poshipop, so Wraith actually might be looking to get active into a team fight here sooner rather than later. He's been quietly farming up pretty much all game long. Time to see what he can make out of that.
Scout looking for something. Oh, it feels bad when you can't find anything for the kinetic carbine. Bunny with Clock playing quite passively at the moment.
Is it double buff to melee creeps? I think Infernus got the left side one, so that's pretty nice for them. See if they're able to leverage those into some more kills. Finn picks up the urn, but it's a fight here around the mid lane. Paradox, love to find a swap, pull somebody in for DMB. BWC are here with almost 5 players though, so it's got to be pretty scary to stick around for this one as melee creeps. They're getting the split farm on the map. They're happy to play this one a little bit slower as we move towards this urn drop though, expecting a big team fight, one that could be crucial and very impactful as we get to the later stages of the game. I mean, Vin, don't love Vin being the urn carrier. I feel like she wants to be out of the engagement into the back line, putting those snipes down, but a kill by Idol, that's game changing because Gibbs is the key hero to contest this urn.
Yeah, and Poshipop will come inside with Wraith to this fight. There's going to be a difference made here. Oh, the anchor comes in on top of the head. That's going to be the knockdown, slowing things up for Tanner, but the urn is on the ground. Can anything be made of this right now? We've got the fight still raging forwards. Good pick off there, finally taking Tanner out once and for all. Going for the urn pick up and the drop off as well, but more disruption potentially coming on in here, but the urn is deposited. Scout does make it happen there for melee creeps, but at what cost here? How much are they going to lose? The chase down comes on through and into the hotel you go. And this is going to be a wipeout in favor of Bunny with Clock as they wait for the guest to check out and eviscerate him.
Ido, oh my god, he almost gets that counter kill. Like, that is insanely close coming out of the Baroness. Still almost pops Aiden. Aiden's going to be pretty surprised about that one. Meanwhile, Pashi was able to put a pretty significant, rather not Pashi, John was able to put a pretty significant amount of damage on the Sidewalker. It's something nice, but had already taken a lot of pressure on his own Walker. So in the end, it's a great trade. One that really is going to move the needle. And now the game is pretty much exactly a dead heat in the Souls contest. Still a heavy emphasis, though, on John. And I think until he shows up to these fights, it's kind of John versus Pashi, right? Very overfarmed for the game. Saya hasn't been able to find those key snipe kills to really make the max assassinate feel super valuable.
This is a nice find by Tanner initially there, and they're going to get Scout off at the back of that initiation. And look at this, caught in the air. Debuff remover there will allow some extra survivability for Saya as he flies away. But Faisal continuing on here. And good response from melee creeps, starting to break this one up as they have zoned away Tanner for the moment. Looking for a re-engage again, coming on through here. There is Saya, is able to get away there. The assassinate, you were coming for him, but he's got a bullet with your name on it. And they're able to fall back off of that. So good victory here for melee creeps. 1 for 3. You love those numbers.
That's big, and I think those are a couple of those kills do go to Saya with the last hits off the snipe. And Saya, he ticks out to something. What, some kind of dot there on the field? It's probably dropped a fat bag over to DMB, which
Poshy put to the question mark.
Gonna feel pretty good about. I mean, all right, is this crazy cope? But like, low key dropping a bag off of the Vin because you get those unsecured souls from the snipe, dropping them onto other people is kind of insane. Right? Like it's actually value. Like you put the bag Infernus, like you're transferring and a crazy amount of bonus souls to a hero like Infernus that can arguably use them better than you can. I mean, I wonder if that actually was an intentional suicide.
Headed to yellow.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, that might very well be
it.
it.
Have to reset. It takes you a little more time to die this way, but I mean, look at DMB. He's on 21k now.
Yeah,
and I think. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and to me, I was thinking that you were talking about the Poshi versus John equation earlier, and I was also thinking about the Arctic on the Mirage versus DMB on the Infernus, and DMB was very behind, so that kind of further plays into that point.
The scarabs will be set to their task.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting matchup. I mean, Furnace took such a big nerf. Feels like this is Mirage's patch. Mirage and Scout, huge swap in by Scout. That's crucial. DMB falls elsewhere on the map. They need to get this kill to equalize that kind of a trade. Geist runs it down, and a nice bag for their troubles. So both of these op carries here do drop, and it's going to be an opportunity to get a bit of a Walker pressure, but John thinks better of it. I mean, a little bit too risky with potential rotations coming in as we see Bunny with Clock are bringing numbers to this Walker defense.
Yeah, big control of the map at the moment for Melee Crews. You can just see it from all the lanes super pushed. Obviously, all walkers up for both sides, but it does feel right now like the map belongs to Melee Creeps. And it's only a 4k soul difference, though. So it's ultimately a negligible difference, but it feels to me like Melee Creeps are winning. And not decisively, but that they're winning.
Ido's soul position isn't that impressive at 19k. I mean, he's like near the bottom, not the worst in the game, but far from the best. But he's all spirit. So, I mean, the amount of nuke damage he can put down on some of these backliners is very real. Maybe force him to defensive ultimate here, though. And for now, just getting bullied away by the Lash. Furnace shows up trying to turn the tide. Fishcake's down elsewhere on the map. So, as strong as Melee Creeps were looking, a couple good fights here for Bunny with Clock, and it gets him an opportunity to push some of these lanes.
I see Infernus.
Here comes the pick attempt. Lash is ground strike and a miss there onto the Furnace. So they're going to be able to escape with that one. Bunny with Clock, that is. They've grabbed the urn, though. So Bunny with Clock have the urn. They've got the Lash ult. Lash is the one carrying it at the moment. You'd probably want to put it on somebody else. So his Death Slam available. This Walker is getting sieged on the right side as well. Melee Creeps, surely they can't take this down with two players. They're doing a lot of damage to this. In comes Scout to try to get the punish, but into the hotel he goes.
Yeah, should be able to get out of this one, but will Geist be so lucky? He does have that swap. Player's kind of scared to get low next to her. The lift is good onto John, though. Podgepop going all in for that kill and just barely gets it in time there. It's going to be massive. Carry for carry. That's one of the most impactful one-for-one kills you can find in the game. And Bunny with Clock now looking to continue putting this pressure on. Melee Creeps electing to give up this fight on this side of the map, go for the Walker trade elsewhere, but it's very expensive. 2 kills, and the Walker isn't even guaranteed on the other side of the map.
And there it is. Mid boss is the prize. Is there anything to stop this? I mean, is there a Walker trade, something? But in the meantime, actually, speaking of walkers, this Gibbs who's looking to just power down the right walker of Melee Creeps. So not only are they going to lose this mid-boss, they're going to immediately lose their walker on the right side as well. There's no response there. They will maybe try to use Infernus to take down the left side, but we do have a skill attempt. Actually, a couple, or rather one, Rejuve going to Melee Creeps will quickly get dealt with. And it's a death traded for that Rejuve crystal.
Honestly, maybe worth here to just get one of the crystals out. It's like a lighter load you have for later, but how expensive that fight is in terms of kills, ultimately, it looks like the real problem. So Bunny with Clock making a very convincing case here for potential map 3. As now with the Rejuves, with some walkers at the same time, right? Even walker status on the field, but with the 20k soul lead and a few players dead, I mean, they have a bit of time to work with here if they want to keep pushing this and forcing the issue, end this game and go to that decisive game 3. We could very well see it. Now it's Melee Creeps just trying to defend, just trying to stay alive in this series.
Yeah, it does feel like, you know, Arctic is powering forwards as well on the farm. He's very close to Poshi, who is, of course, reliably always just the most mega farmed player on the team. And on the other side of things, you know, again, DMB on the Infernus just really just behind 26k. So 7k discrepancy between him and the Mirage. And I mean, Infernus did get nerfed, and I'm sure that he's feeling it. It can't feel good. So this might be the only Infernus showing.
Yeah, I wonder, you know, something like the Geist right now feels to be really the standard bearer for Melee Creeps. Feels awkward in a game like this, especially that Wraith, the ultimate, you know, has presented a real problem. You got low on John, and Pasha just blinked into you and ulted you instantly. He's going to go the plated, though, to try and maybe tank through some more of these fights. I think there's still something to be played for, and that's a big pickup. Phantom Strike on Fishcake on the Abrams. They really, I mean, it was pretty much just Scout to be able to find pickups, but now having Abrams Phantom Strike to follow that up, it's going to be a lot more difficult for these squishy backliners from Bunny with Clock to play. Like, if Phantom Strike can just catch you, pull you out of trouble, even, or rather into trouble, even with these rejuves, it's not necessarily a free fight for Bunny with Clock, despite the soul advantage.
Our yellow walker is under attack.
Here comes the play for the mid walker. Is there any way to stop this? Well, he got a big old charge coming on through from Fishcake. Gonna have to fall off though.
Snipes, just barely doesn't get the second one, but I mean, this is melee creeps pushing mid walker into a massive soul deficit and a rejuve. So they'll be punished for this hubris. Scout incredibly low. If they can get out of this play without getting team wiped, I mean, they made so much space, ran the clock down immensely. Really impressive by melee creeps in a brutal situation. Billy, though, forces the double down, forces everyone to come fight him. With the plated armor, this Geist is doing decently in this fight. Well, not good enough, though. Okay, 3 for nothing in the end. So maybe melee creeps, they tried to get tricky. They tried to force that mid walker. It started to look good, but the chase down was there, and the bluff is called. Now Bunny with Clock, open season if they want to try to push this one out. Poshprop, though, he's hunting for more kills. Not interested in sieging the base just yet. Sees that he can finish off this Vin. Ido's here to trade this, but yeah, I'm not sure you want that fight. Poshprop is not scared. Absolutely no respect.
Yeah, he's a mega farms Wraith. I feel like it's justified, but this is the type of 1v1 that the Infernus can really have an advantage in, even under farms to some extent. But there is assistance there for Poshipop to keep him alive and to deal with the Infernus, so DMB gets annihilated. It's not a fair fight.
It's kind of a slow bleed out right now for melee creeps. Like, against this rejuve, they got wild with the split pushing, trying to make a lot happen, but they got caught by the big Billy ult, the chains from Tanner, forces the team fight, gets 3 kills, and then across the map, Poshpop finds 2 more. And now, I mean, 36 seconds without DMB, you might even go for the aggressive earn turn in. I wouldn't blame Bunny with Clock for that, considering, I mean, this is a 30k soul lead. This is their game to lose at this point. I expect them to wait for the next mid boss, but this may be a free earn without DMB. I don't know that you really want to fight that as melee creeps and risk the game on this.
Here they go. In for the earn deposit. It's free. It's free, baby. It's free.
He's a lift on somebody. Where is it? Here comes Phantom Strike Abrams. The lift is good onto Ido. He's all in spirit damage, but doesn't have any tank in his Lash on top of him. Ido trying to put that counter pressure on, trying to force some kind of a trade. Juking away for now. Lash struggles to connect, has to back out, but elsewhere, the engagement has not gone well for melee creeps. Many players low. Lash holding his own, and I mean, there's going to be more support here coming in. For now, it's Ido here, but Lash still alive. The flog is good, gets him the heal. The parry is amazing, too, keeps him alive. Oh, and that could be nearly the end, Dan. I mean, expect to see some base Guardians dropping. They don't have any of their key team fighters here for this base defense. It feels like there's not much you can do except maybe split the map.
Game 3, boys. Yeah,
are we calling it?
It's looking very game 3 for me, Puckett. I mean, I don't see how you do this. Okay, John takes a risk, wants to pull the attention on himself if he can get back. This would be nice. Okay, so it does slow down the base siege just a bit, but in the end, will it really change anything? Get this patron drop now, you're going to be sitting pretty on Bunny with Clock. And I mean, there's a thought to go for this, but Gibbs is so low. Maybe Lash dying as well to the bleed out from DMB. Could be a bit of a chase down with John running out of the base now.
Protect the stronghold.
Melee creeps. Not a lot of options. Maybe 0, actually. Maybe 0 options.
Yeah, it looks very grim right now. I mean, Bunny with Clock, they're going to go by. They're going to get like their last key power spike items, inhibitor, and ricochet online for Mirage. I mean, this is just gross, right? Like, to try to fight into this Mirage. It's getting so much value in a long fight and draining resources. I wouldn't mind like a silencer on him just to add insult to injury with that ricochet and absolutely debuff the hell out of melee creeps who are trying to get a bit of a fight here. Ultimate's down for BWC. Fishcake has the slam away, but yeah, even just the procs on him are going to be enough. Toxic in the Mirage passive, able to do enough. And now DMB in this Isis Infernus. Could be not long for this world. No rejuice available. It's not necessarily a free fight. Mirage burning down pretty badly, has to fall back, but still Bunny with Clock in the dominant position, continuing to push forward.
I see Infernus.
Well, it's going to be a slow. I mean, in fact, you said this earlier. Slow bleed. I feel like that's very much what we're seeing. The prognosis is indeed terminal.
All of the melee creeps players are half HP, so actually I don't like. I like this from Bunny with Clock rather. It's like you got one kill, there's a bunch of players low. Like I think melee creeps have taken a little bit too many risks to be low HP. They may need to give this one up. Are they going to go for the fight? 1 rejuve, 2, 3 to Bunny with Clock. John came in for this contest. He's down. Oh, and this just could be game. Melee creeps, they had to do something. They had to stay out of the map, but they just lost too much HP. And ultimately, they just couldn't stand tall. Bunny with Clock pressing the advantage and most likely forcing the game 3 here. I mean, I think it really could be down to it. 3 rejuves, 50 seconds off. It's got to be game over.
Walk them down, baby. Walk them down, Dan.
Come on down to the pits and have yourself a smiling patron. Is he smiling? I don't know. I just remembered that the face looks like an old person once again. But you know what? There it is. We tie ourselves up, Bucket.
Respectful GG's in the chat here. A lot of love between these two
Respect the
teams.
elderly.
But we got to go to game 3. It's coming down to the decider, and Bunny with Clock making their name. They already defeated Sneaky Golem to be in this position to make it possible, and now challenging the champions in melee groups who've been kind of running the table on NA for a while, but maybe not for too much longer. If Bunny with Clock have something to say about it.
Somebody in chat said, man, I should have known never to bet on melee creeps game 2. Why did I do this to myself? I lost all of my points. Who was that? Was that you, Jake?
I mean, I always go all in unless I just forget to bet. Like,
Okay,
come on, there's no point in betting if you're not going to go all in. That's
Good
financial
man.
advice.
Unfortunately, melee creeps are known for throwing game 2s. They go to game 3s here in grand finals, and we love it when that happens because it gives their opponent a moment to showcase their skills. Who popped off for the BWC, DDK?
BWC, I mean, to be honest, Poshy Pop is always a good call out. I think, you know, Tana had a good game as well. It really was certainly a team effort. I mean, Arctic did a great job keeping up on the farm. I think Gibbs had some really nice plays with Lash. I think some of his ganks and death slams with Lash were actually very, very nice to make sure that there was early lane control and victories and just like getting the tempo out of the early game. So I think the whole machine was operating well.
Around the 22-minute mark, we're coming up on that in the highlights, Jake. There seemed to just be a 30,000 soul lead. What changed? What led to that? How did BWC pull away?
I mean, BWC got a mid boss off, and Melee Creeps was trying to get very cheeky into it, trying to like push walkers, split the map, and ultimately they got that bluff called. I mean, Tanner found a few of them, then Poshy Pop found some more on the extremities, and ultimately it was not just mid boss, but I think 5 kills across the map. And when you already have an advantage, that kind of additive pressure on top, it's just game over from there on out. But props to Bunny with Clock for getting through it, to Poshy Pop in particular for making Wraith look really good, right? I don't think Wraith has had a great game.
I was going to say, are you Wraith
today.
believers now? She's been picked by both regions tonight.
Yeah, I was a little skeptical, but Poshy Pop showed like, hey, you can get incredibly farmed. You can show up and deal that damage. Still, though, Arctic on the Mirage. Less farm, but more damage. In the end, though, both kind of offering different utility to the team. Definitely going to be interesting to see how the dust settles in something like Infernus, where, I mean, this is an uncharacteristically weak game for Infernus. Maybe this Infernus nerf really was enough to take some of the threat out of his laning phase, to decrease some of that snowball potential. And I wonder if it doesn't even hurt your jungling a little bit.
Final question, DDK. Is this the lowest score you have seen from Scout?
I don't know.
You mean to call him out, but
It might be. I mean, well, because just we expect him to. He's had a lot of really good games, like, and so for him to have a rough game is a rarity. When I mean, maybe for all of Melee Creeps, considering what strong performers they've been.
They're shutting down the docks, baby. Game 2 in the books. We've got a game 3 loading up. This one was 39 kills to 21 kills. It's too early to crown an MVP, but let's talk about some players in the running. Dan, I want you to go first. If you could give the night shift crown to one beautiful player, who would you choose tonight?
Before we have a winner, it would probably be John John. I think John is just like an obvious answer. He's just such a superstar mega carry for his team, and that's kind of how his team they lean into that play style, and obviously that's what ultimately brings them into these wins. We saw it on the Gun Doorman in the previous game. We'll see it anytime he's on a Geist, generally speaking. So yeah, John John, I would say.
Jake, you're going all in on channel points. What's your heart telling you for this game 3 on the other side of the break?
Oh, I don't listen to my heart, Bucket. I listen to my brain. We got to see this draft. It's too soon to tell. I think this really is going to come down to the draft. It's going to come down to the execution. But now that both teams have a win under their belt, it's time that you can put those land nerves away. You can put those jitters back and really just show us the best Deadlock you've got and play, with the best strats you can pull out. That being said, it's patch day, so both teams are probably kind of reeling from that, trying to adapt on the fly, trying to find out what works. So I'm expecting to see just, new and different drafts every single game, because I don't think anybody, especially even not the pro players, has a handle on like what's actually good. I do expect maybe no Infernus, at least not for DMB. I think DMB is going to say, you know what, give me a different hero. And honestly, the DMB Wraith, that's you go deep in the archives, and DMB was like a hardcore Wraith spammer. So
oh, really?
I could see DMB maybe coming out on the Wraith and looking pretty good. He has had historically some incredibly strong games on that hero.
Tonight we will not have a graveyard shift. We're going to push that till later in the week, hosted by our legendary ZP. Jason Kaplan will be rejoining the show. Uber is also flying back from Sweden eventually, and we're going to have a whole gang right before Christmas, hopefully. As we close out tonight's show, though, a quick reminder, hit that follow, hit that sub button. Thank you to everyone behind the scenes. Thank you to all of the subscribers, all the donators. We're going to be back with a game 3 in just a few moments. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Make sure you buy gifts for the people that depend on you to buy gifts for them, and will be very upset if you don't buy gifts, because I've done that before. GDK never forgets, though, and he knows exactly what's going to happen in this game number 3. GDK, who was your MVP before we went to commercial break?
Well, Medicrease lost the last map, but I would pick a Jean Jean.
Yep.
He's my MVP.
Jake, you were going to tell me the secrets of the draft coming up. What needs to happen for them to earn your vote and your confidence in a decider game 3?
I want to see DMB on a character that he can really have the big games we've been associating him with. Like, he even looked not bad on Infernus that last game. I just feel like maybe these are some of those nerfs from Infernus starting to bite. I mean, he's been nerfed patch after patch, and we were kind of wondering, when is this going to start to particularly count, and when is it actually going to maybe come over that threshold? And I feel like last game, maybe at least on the eye test, that was it for me. I mean, DMB still showed some good team fights, still had some good moments, but I'd want to see him on the Wraith of the Mirage, something that's a little bit more conventional and able to use those, gun plus spirit thresholds to better effect. And I think, DMB can handle that kind of pressure. Give him the farm, give him the opportunity to carry. I think he'll step up.
There's a demand for Hayes. Does she make a return to the game, DDKs?
I can see it. I can certainly see it. I mean, Hayes is good. Hayes is a solid pick. I mean, it's interesting because you can see Hayes be used in multiple different ways because of her kit. Like, you can build her in damage. Like, oftentimes teams don't do it because there's a few other heroes on the chopping block that kind of just do that more better. And Hayes has other options that you can play into, like the Sleep Dagger, setting up and like attacking the backline, finding picks, and mobility is really good. So Hayes is cool. I don't know, Jake, what do you think? Is Hayes a replacement for an Infernus?
I think the problem with Hayes is you can give her a lot of farm, but then ultimately in the late game, you're very vulnerable on Hayes. Like, you don't have anything that defends you, really. I mean, you have a Sleep Dagger, but it's a single target, right? And so your only way is to just like kill your way out of a bad situation. But at this level of play, you're going to get swarmed and ganked as a whole unit, and having like the tornado from Mirage, or Infernus having the flame dash and his ultimate, right? These are super valuable tools that just living a little bit longer into the team fight, being able to get into a tough spot and actually have a play your way out of it. And for Hayes, the lack of that option, I think I'm not against Hayes being played. I would just think she really is better at a lower eco level, where you're not putting all your eggs in the Hayes basket, and she can be a little bit more free to look for kills as opposed to just farming the jungle.
Can we give a shout out to somebody down bad? Soraka's Big Banana. Great name. Bad Gambler. 216 channel points remaining. They're going all in, DDK. They're not even trying to spread the bits around.
At that point,
the regain.
There's no hedging your bets. You're down to your last red cent. You got to go all in. There's no question about it. Keep going all in until you strike gold. That's what I say. And DMB now, there's going to be some questions. What is he going to play? Because it's already Wraith and Mirage taken for Bunny with Clock. Test for one of the veteran carries here on melee creeps. What's the pick going to be that gets him into the game at a comfortable pick? I mean, he may just need to play Infernus again.
Yes, I don't know though. I feel like you can't though. I feel like there's too much bad juju. I feel like there's way too
a
much
lot of bad juju for Infernus right now. You do have Shiv and Geist, which makes you feel like, okay, maybe I feel a little bit better about having the Infernus, but they're going to go Warden, and that could be the DMB hero we've been asking for. One that might be a little bit more suited to this patch, provide a little bit more lockdown. But with the Wraith and Mirage, rather, on the cards, you're going to need a few slowing hexes to be able to lock them down in those cages.
Yeah, this is a much stronger opening, I feel like, for Bunny with Clock in the first three. So we'll see how that goes. For melee creeps and Bunny with Clock, I'm wondering who's going to get the Paradox. Melee creeps managed to bag it last time, and I would love to see Bunny with Clock be able to find that. Going into the ban here.
I don't know if Scout plays the way they did on
Kelvin,
you can have it back.
Okay, what's the next pick for melee creeps? Will we see a Bebop?
I would love a Bebop. I feel like NA hasn't been valuing it as highly. I thought that build from overseas to go more of a spirit build, kind of play for those team fights with the ultimate, looked amazing to me. But so far, NA has kind of been leaving Bebop in the dust, going for other options on these pick heroes. Even Holiday not getting a ton of play, which I think goes towards NA playing this farm-heavy style and not looking to get as active in the early game. So the drafts are kind of reflecting that idea about the game. So we're seeing a lot more greed, a lot more carry potential across the draft. Like pretty much every hero that's been picked so far has late game snowball potential. I wonder how many sort of supports and pick heroes we even will see in the end of the draft.
One thing I am surprised, I got to say, Jake, is not seeing Sinclair in play really in either region, because Sinclair is actually, I think, really good right now. I think, especially with the investment changes, I think they really helped him. And obviously the TP got changed, so the TP has more utility now to not just be an escape tool, but you can use it in fights to go back and forth. So Sinclair got buffed, but no one seems to be wanting to play him. And he's lane bully as well. He's really good in lane.
I agree. I think maybe underrated, could be even good here for Money with Clock. You've got Warden picked, you've got Geist picked. So like these stolen ults are actually incredibly high potential. Stealing the Page ult is, I think, one of the best you can pick, given the long cooldown. And it's going to be a pocket to close out the draft for melee creeps. And for a pocket, I'm very excited. I mean, this is Ido on the OG. I feel like every time I see Ido have a pocket game, I just... that's like the lean forward gamer meme. I want to see what Ido can do in this pocket. I feel like this is a guy you can trust to carry the game. And as you were saying, Sinclair, I mean, and there's so many powerful ults to copy. I feel like Sinclair could have a huge game in this series. I'm excited to see what DMB can do, because I suspect this will be a Warden Page lane. I could be wrong about that, but I think that gives you insane tankiness. This
Jake,
monster
you're stalling. 63% picked melee creeps. That was after it was 4 characters locked in on both sides. Bunny with Clock sitting at 37%. Are you taking the odds and riding with the BWC? Or are you siding with the creeps after seeing the draft?
I like the melee creeps draft. I feel like they kind of got what they were hoping for. They've got something more stable. Bunny with Clock has kind of gone for a new school look here, playing Wraith and Mirage, really prowling them in the draft with a lot of pick and lockdown, across the board. But they definitely have the carry potential. I just think melee creeps, they have the team fighting, they have the late game. I think Page is actually going to pay dividends, especially in the early to mid. And I think Ido is going to be able to take the game over. When it gets late enough, the man's just going to be hitting huge afflictions, uncatchable on the pocket. He's just so consistent on it. I just won't bet against the Ido pocket.
It's the final fight of the night. He's going with the Ido pocket, ladies and gentlemen. Jake DDK, melee creeps, Bunny with Clock. Ding ding.
I love the setup, Jake, for the Sinclair thing, because when you were going through all the ults that could be stolen after we were just talking about how good Sinclair is right now and after the passion that we haven't seen it today.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
I mean, it got banned outright in EU, I think, like once, but you're right. I don't think we got to see it. And that double swapping thing is going to be, especially when you think about using the ultis, right? Multiple swaps. If you're going to steal an affliction, or, that means you could like get affliction, TP in, instantly afflict them, and TP out. You're basically playing pocket at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot to hopefully see with Gibbs's Sinclair, but it is a very high skill ceiling hero as well. So we'll have to see how it's played. I think overall, I totally agree with your summation on the draft. It looks really nice for melee creeps.
I like this
really,
lane
really nice.
too. Like, I mean, Pocket I think is a pretty weak laner, but paired with the Warden and against something like a Mo, it's gonna be hard not to give big stacks over to Pocket and maybe start to burst down even as strong as you are on Wraith for Boshbop. This super early game is I think when you're the weakest, and that's when Warden could potentially punish.
It's actually interesting because I did a VOD review ages ago of this exact lane setup and I was focusing on Ido's Pocket, and he was with a Warden, and he was on this side of the map as well. So, and what tended to be the case is that, you know, he maximizes his pressure, just getting all the abilities on. He likes to get towards the church up the steps and just keep the pressure on, whilst the Warden just like holds space in the lane, because a mixture of just the casks, the ability to clear waves, and also just hold ground because of the binding words. Warden can hold that space to give Ida the ability to just pressure and keep everybody just like stuck by the tower. And that's kind of like how it went previously.
Yeah, a couple of these barrage hits too. Things could get scary. Here comes a fight though, breaking out in the side lane, pushing the page under the tower, getting a little bit of extra damage there. It's a contest though, mostly over these small creeps. That's the real prize for that trade. And this time it's Page and Shiv in the side lane. So Shiv is going to be able to absolutely go all in whenever those barriers are online.
Page, Shiv, I mean, is really nice. It's really, really nice. You don't quite have the catch that you'd get with the Kelvin. Okay, John getting chased down a little bit there. Yeah, you don't have the catch like you have with the Kelvin as much with the Ice Beam, which is kind of guaranteed catch, but it's still like the amount of shields you can put on the Shiv is really, really, really powerful. So it's and with the ult too, it's kind of like the Dome in a way, where you can just fight under the ult in a tower dive situation, the Page's ult that is. So it functions very similarly, I feel like, to the Kelvin Shiv.
Mid lane still competitive here in the side lane though. I think that's 4 stocks on Barrage. Ido, you gotta watch out. You get hit by a cape here. You can find yourself popping much quicker than you anticipate. See if a regen is purchased. No, looks like monster rounds. So Wraith still refusing to back down, refusing to buy a regen item. See if she regrets that. Mo is able to do a lot of frontlining in this lane though, and maybe that's what she's betting on. Not needing to tank the damage, because Mo's gonna do that entire job for her.
So what do you feel like are the win conditions for either team here?
I feel like, I'm not actually sure who wins in the late game. I think I'd give the edge to melee creeps perhaps. But then again, it's like, man, I think a lot comes down on the carry farm. Like, I will say this Warden, although it looks really strong sometimes, other times I just feel like the potential isn't realized. It's just too hard to connect all your damage in the late game, too hard to lock people down. Speaking of that potential though, Mo trapped up, just takes every single skill in the lane, but it's still healthy. Still all right with that one. Just incredible tankiness from those spirit damage in the burrow.
It is interesting because I'm kind of with you now that I'm like looking at this. You know, the Mirage, Wraith, super strong, like late game, like very, very strong. And for melee creeps, you've got John, but the others don't scale quite as well as a Wraith Mirage. So yeah, I could see, I mean, the team fight, the utility overall, the synergy feels really nice for melee creeps. But if we get to super late game, I would probably start favoring Bunny with Clock if we get there.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't even know how Sinclair plays in that ultra late game. Maybe being able to steal Affliction would be nice. I feel like Affliction is an incredibly powerful spell. When we get to the late game, it's like you can just start a team fight off, try the Affliction. If it's good, you commit. If it's not good, no big deal. You know, you're out of there on the pocket. But maybe able to match that with the Sinclair could help stabilize things when it comes to those damage opening initiates. Mo as well is going to be a bit of a problem for melee creeps. You got to be careful splitting on the side lanes. You know, as mobile as you are in pocket, if you just get comboed one time, you're almost certainly dead at any phase of the game.
Ooh, Mo barely escaping there. Gets a little
active reload. Okay, so DMB is all in, I think, on the early farming and tower pressure. Active reload, like we were saying, like, hasn't been picked up nearly as much, especially on characters like Warden with a great QSR skill. But it does give you a lot of lane pressure early on. A little extra mag size, a little extra damage, a little extra life steal. So DMB, for now, has found Boshbop, and that's first blood. It goes right back the other way. That's both players dying in, I believe, both side lanes. Yeah, so double kill in both side lanes.
Let's push Greenwich.
Nina and DMB, rather, Aiden and DMB both profiting. We'll see who's able to carry the game more effectively.
So left side Guardian looking like it's going to go down pretty soon. Will require another wave crash.
Pashi? Oh, he just died back to back. The salty run back on Pashi. And Pashi, we talked about, I think he needs to be farmed. I mean, he's like the late game. He's the security in this game. And a salty run back death is going to be costly. At the same time, finding John kind of goes back the other way. The extra player in the mid lane.
And Arctic did show a great propensity to just really be super stable on the farm on the Mirage in the previous game, even when Pashi was still kind of taking a lot of priority in the farm. So it's nice to have that backup there for you on the BWC side of things.
Shiv is ungodly tanky right now for the early game. Very close to hitting that early green power spike. Could just buy it up right now if he wants to go for an 800 green, but for now, wants to just force the fight. Pinnin is good. He's desperate. Wants to be able to finish off this Sinclair, who's incredibly low. Has that execute, but can't quite get him under threshold. The kill actually comes first onto Saya. So Bunny with Clock, bring the numbers, clean this one up, and even Shiv maybe in too deep here. Yeah, Mo's chasing him down. Shiv just tries to turn, do what damage he can. The execute's not enough, and the parry from Aiden the Destroyer. Beautiful read. Would have died to that melee, so took the gamble.
So close on a nice edge. This right side Guardian for melee creeps is going down.
Slowly but surely. But DMB, I think he's going to be very happy to be in a solo lane in this kind of a game on Gun Warden. I mean, expect to see him not get too active until we get a little bit later into the game, but him having such a strong start is going to really snowball his jungling. And if he's able to clear some of these camps on the opposing side of the map, like he even has a little bit of a read on where Wraith is. But winning these camps is really the valuable prize at this phase of the game. Has max flask as well, so it's only going to further snowball how quickly he can clean them up.
8.3k, closest on the
Might
other
go
team.
Coltsack too. Like if he gets Coltsack here, it's going to be kind of a problem. Looking for a combo now is the Mo. Gonna grab one, but where's the follow-up? Here comes Abrams charging in from downtown. They have the damage, and Kibbs from downtown with the stolen Page ult shuts down Scout. Scout, you thought that was gonna heal you? Nope, you thought wrong.
Really good pressure from Bunny Clock right now. Looks like they're actually in a really good spot, even on the overall souls, but feels like they've got some good control going at the moment, taking the initiative.
Ido's risking it right now. I think he's taking Sinners on like no HP whatsoever. I mean, those Sinners hurt, man, in the early game. If you're not tanky, as Ido most certainly is not, going all in for Spirit for the first power spike, you really can't take the Sinners at 8 minutes easily.
Is he going for a fast focus lens, getting that Spirit sap online?
He might, I mean, I've honestly seen this a lot. Some of the heavier Spirit damage characters just buy the Spirit sap. I think in that Silence Wave meta, people started to realize, like, hey, this Spirit Sap item is not bad. Like, you know, as just a build-up item, it's not bad. It does some pretty meaningful shred, you know, takes away some of the opponent's counter damage. Actually great for somebody like Pocket with the negative starting Spirit resist. Taking away the opponent's Spirit damage actually is really meaningful if you're trading skills going back and forth. And the shred, just, of course, it amps up everything about your kit.
And I guess with the burst damage too, if you focus on someone, then you're going to get more return on the damage that's sustained after the burst damage, because you just like insta burst them down after you hit the ability on them. So I can see how it makes a lot of sense for a Pocket. Obviously that is nice
later in the game.
Slightly.
I would like Focus Lens, especially if you're dealing with, you know, people like Wraith and Abrams, who, I mean, might not necessarily build a debuff remover, right? You know, you don't all want to build debuff remover. And, you know, being able to lock down, have some few options, have a few lockdown choices, it's going to be necessary to taking out some of these more highly mobile characters. And speaking of mobile, here comes the entire gang squad from Bunny with Clock rolling up. And the combos, the punishes have been good. I mean, Cool Cheese has been setting them up. Everyone else has been knocking them down. I would say it's the secret to their success, but it's hardly a secret.
Oh my god, Scout is so far behind his team in souls. Oh my god, he's getting actually owned right now. That's rough, but at least his team's doing it well. Otherwise, I mean, if it's going to be anyone on the team, you'd probably prefer it to be him that's struggling.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I feel like Paradox can have big games though, like and be meaningful as a damage carry. I think this game is not going to be one of those though. Scout probably just going to be the old catch bot, but yeah, I don't mind it in a sense. This game of just like going Paradox and just building your knockdowns, your slowing hexes, you know, just catching people, setting up for your squad. For now, he just has these fighting tools. Oh, stolen Warden ult. Do they have the burst? Yes, they do. Locked down as well. Gibbs casts the ult, but no chance in using it.
There we go. The urn is collected by melee creeps. And in the meantime, it's a fight. You know, Bunny O'Clock investing in the left side. They're probably going to concede the Guardian on the right, but they are looking to take that Guardian down on the left side. Really big fight going on there. They're going to be able to take down Scout yet again. As we see this Guardian get lost. Is there a return? No trade actually found at all. In fact, looks like there's a chase down.
But maybe not for long. Yeah, like the whole team is trying to run him down. He's trying to make what time he can, slow things down. Has the moves, but yeah, surely not in the 4-on-1. Just dominated here in the side room. But he did pull them back far enough away from the tower that there's a time here for Paige to come into this. Fishcake holding onto the tower for now. Bunny O'Clock are going to go for this, but maybe finding too much. Oh, combo comes in. Tower's already down. Where's the follow damage? It's not there. Shiv full tanking this. They get the stun just on the Mo, though. Seems to be getting away for the moment. But man, the Creeps have brought so many players. They can't accept that for now. They need to keep hunting for kills.
Yeah, this is very sketchy now suddenly. Like, they do get that Guardian down, but...
Scout's so
very sketchy 1v1.
He can't fight it. He's deep in his own side of the map, but he just can't even come close to taking that 1v1. This Mirage is a problem, man. Tornadoes through, dashes away, getting the slide out, and if he gets any kind of assistance, he could very well get out of this Shiv, though, right on top of his face. Surely that's enough. Parry wasted, and yeah, it will be ultimately a kill. Assuredly? Yeah, the bleed out is enough, and you do get that extra heal bait kill. So Fishcake profits, but man, it's really is a testament to how weak Scout is in this game that he catches a player in behind his own team's lines, and that guy just turns around and bursts him.
Speaking of which, we get another burst coming up through from the Mina, but getting caught around the side.
Real one bullet.
HP.
He cannot take a single shot, and DMB finds that last touch to clean him out. Nice flash there to Abrams, who's talking about being the wrong side of town, man. Ganked. And Warden really having a fantastic game from a farm potential. I really want to see Ido get up there in the farm, though. I feel like Geist and Warden are going to be up there. They're going to be going toe-to-toe with Mirage and Wraith, kind of like even Steven from my perspective. But I feel like if Ido has a huge game, that will tip the balance and give melee creeps the chance at this final win. It's a Guardian Ward on Wraith. That's pretty interesting. I'm kind of surprised by that. I mean, a very supporty item on a hero that typically is all in greed.
Yeah, that is peculiar.
Maybe, I mean, building into a DB late game could be nice. I mean, able to take off something like Affliction. Maybe he's thinking ahead for that. And I guess it does offer some decent value in the early game trades, able to protect yourself or your teammates.
I guess it also contributes to the Vitality spike as well.
True. You got to buy something, right? You know, getting the spikes is going to be crucial. Fishcake baiting a little bit, pulling some attention. Chasing Mina, though. Yeah, no chance at that. No real interest. But I think DMB does grab the centers there. He's going to be happy about that one.
Yeah, and coming up in 45 seconds. And the bridge buffs as well. So teams need to begin to start thinking about the positioning, clean up your lanes, and then you're able to spend time getting position onto the high grounds. You can start to see that here. The play around the right side. That's the focus for melee creeps right now. 20 seconds to go now for the buffs. And there's not much map control for Bunny O'Clock.
I think when Affliction comes online, that's going to be kind of the go sign for melee creeps. They're going to have Page ult as well. You do have to worry about Cool Cheese with a combo, though, right? If you're able to catch and burst somebody like Pocket before he gets his skills off, team fight could look incredibly different. Buffs coming up. Looks like it's traded one for the other. DMB comboed. Oh, he's up on the high ground, though, and the damage roll was a bit awkward. DMB, he's living a bit longer. Manages to get this ult off. It's helping him live for now. Sinclair trapped as well, but DMB just wants to get out of this one. Takes his chance to fall back off the play. Recognizes he's in too deep on that one. Combo is down, and now hold on, Mirage. This is turning into a no holds barred team fight. But there's three melee creeps players pushing the other side of the map. They don't want to fight here.
They're trying to control this one, falling all the way back. And are they going to be allowed to get away from this? It looks like they are going to be able to disengage successfully. But in the meantime, Sinclair Gibbs is taking down this left side walker. Is he going to be able to get it for free? No. These walkers are tanky enough that he can't take it out, but he is able to escape. This is typical Sinclair things. And they have also a Mirage on the team that can do a very similar job with the Traveler. So definitely big split push threats in those two heroes as the urn drop-off is guarded. And there's not really all that much that can be done, I think, to turn that one in at the moment. But I mean, melee creeps, maybe they're going to go for it. They do have a skirmish potential.
Right. I mean, a lot of ultis deployed in that last team fight. Gibbs doesn't have his. You don't have that Warden ulti, but I don't think it's that important because you're, pretty much a gun build here. The fight already getting started here on the side lane. Combo is good, and that's DMB down. And without your Warden, oh, they're going to risk it. The urn is incredibly close to this. Fishcake with that execute online. Max dagger as well, so can really put the damage in, even on a tanky target like Mo. Urn drop for now. Paradox proves she'd rather just get into the fight, try and scrap this one out. Big question is, can Ido find a big affliction? Fishcake finds Gibbs. Opener into the fight. DMB coming back soon. Affliction looks like it's just on the Mirage, but maybe that'll be enough here.
Yeah, still finding this one out at the moment. The urn might be getting to be waking its way across. Page does have that in hand. Big focus fire.
Huge value of the swap, and he lives. Ido comes back in with a big burst, the 5 streak for the pocket, and an aggressive urn turn in. Ido dies for it, but space created, and that gets the urn drop. I'd say you take those.
Burst damage. You can't be messing around with that from Pocket. Oh, still have some chase down. The Scout is just... Oh no, Scout is just actually wrecked it.
He's so poor. He's so sad and poor.
And look at his, that's his money. You can't be taking from him, man.
Yeah, just the rich get richer, huh? What can you do?
That can't feel good. Can't feel good. Oh man. That's like taking from an orphan.
We're officially Wraith believers and Paradox haters now, right?
I'm still sussing this Wraith. I don't know why. He needs to buy 800 more of gun items so he gets the buff, though. That's a mistake in the build for now. See if he buys that Swift Striker in the next trip to the shop. If you didn't know, not the most recent patch, but the one before that introduced a pretty big spike to power when you get 4,800 souls invested into each of the 3 item categories. So it's especially important for everyone to get that. You can see, like, for instance, Arctic has exactly enough to have that spike on Spirit as well as on Vitality. A little bit over invested in Vitality, but hey, it's a heal, right? And so that gives him a lot of Spirit and a lot of life for a relatively modest investment, and then he can put the rest into the gun and just pump the damage. Catch here. Oh, Gibbs. The lead it and the Shiv, the nuke is very real here. Has Decay online as well, so you're really going to start to bleed out in a very big way, hit by Decay and some Shiv knives, Healbane on top of that as well.
And he's only 1,600. No, he needs more than that. He needs 2,400 for his spike, right? For the Spirit.
He just needs 800 more, right?
500 more?
Because Decay is a
Decay's like 200, no? Oh, right, yeah.
So he's almost there. I mean, he could buy it up right now if he wants to go for the upgraded charges item. Pretty strong on Shiv with max knives.
Yeah.
Be a pretty common buy here. Curious to see where he wants to spec, because, I mean, Shiv having Colt Stack too, he's going to definitely scale a little bit deeper into the late game. Maybe he can kind of join the ranks of some of these top farm heroes. I also feel like Shiv is a hero that kind of punches above his weight class in terms of farm. Maybe Paradox can do the same. You know, you might not be farmed, but you can still set up kills for the big carries on your squad. You can still lock people down with that maxed wall.
Your arcane mastery will grow.
So it's been a tough game for Scout, man. It's been a tough game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been getting combos on combos. And I mean, honestly, at this point in the game, it's like if you combo the Paradox, you almost take that as Scout. Like, take the combo off the field. You know, that means Ido and DMB have a much freer fight to, you know, push the limit and take risks. Maybe a swap to be found here. Backstabber proc on this Abrams. Slips away to the TP for now, though.
Gibbs does actually have 14k souls as well. So Gibbs is as poor now as Scout. So that kind of tells you how badly things have been going for BWC recently.
Just the supports, man.
Yeah, Corchi's not too far behind it, nor is Aiden on the Mina. So like the farm is really starting to suffer on the BWC side of things, as they are now 10k souls behind overall.
Yeah, it's starting to get rough. And this can be an even earn. I think that's great news for melee creeps. An even earn turn in is a risk that I think they're very likely to try to take. Pashupop, though, is in that left lane, so if you leave this alone, he is absolutely going to take your walker. And so you got to decide whether that trade is worth it. I think they're going to go for it. Guys TPing in, looks like the rest of the squad all ganging up. It's going to be a major brawl in the right lane as this earn comes in. Some Captivate and Read lockdowns. So far, so good. No one really dropping. Both teams maybe disengaging from this early trade. Geist is into the backline, though. They may not know about John's position here. And Raid's going to keep going. She's going for the base guardians. You got to really consider, is this worth it anymore? Melee creeps, they're getting the earn, but can they find the kills? Well, 2-1 is good enough.
Yeah, Wraith coming back in. Still going for farm. Actually, are they going to go down to the mid boss? This is kind of crazy.
I mean, they
They're
have
going to
every
go for
ult.
it.
They're just calling the bluff. They have every ult. They're going to take this fight. Poshpop does have that divine barrier now. So limiting the number of options the Pocket has for this catch. Here comes that page ult. Doesn't get any lockdown. They're trying to chase onto this Mina, but she's single retreats up to the high ground. Ido following her though, and the nukes are good. You could maybe go for this. Maybe just getting that kill onto Arctic is going to be enough though. It's one of the main carries. You can go right back into the mid boss with already a bit of damage down.
Kind of vexing bolt from the hole in the ceiling.
I mean, Rabbit Hex, you could try it, but it's so many players here. I think you just try to stall this one out. Instant triple last hit. Melee Creeps just send it. And I mean, this could be the game here, Dan. Like a big reju. If they can win a couple team fights clear, maybe these mid and side walkers that are already like down around half HP, things could easily fall apart for Bunny with Clock if they don't take these team fights perfectly.
Yeah, big defense mode coming on now. I mean, in terms of the tools for defense, I think that's not going to be. It's not going to look good here because your tanky players are fairly underfarmed compared to the Warden on the other team. 32k for DMB. He is standing tall at the moment. But with that said, you know, Pushy Pop, 31k Wraith, that's very dangerous. 28k Mirage. That's where most of the farm has been going for Bunny with Clock. So the damage output is pretty nice if they're able to get the focus fire. That's really often the question with a situation like that. Can you actually just get the focus at the right timing? And I don't know that there's enough CC for BWC.
Yeah, like with the Reju's online, I feel like combo loses a ton of value because you commit really heavily in your position for that pick with combo. And then if that person just respawns right into the fight, suddenly Mo's exposed and Mo becomes an easy cleanup kill. And, you know, it kind of turns into a trade, which is not going to be good enough for Bunny with Clock. You see these Walker projectiles hit way harder now, but there's just not enough HP for this defense to really be worth it. Poshpot, meanwhile, though, maybe getting caused incredibly low. Zip boost attempted. A little bit of a fail from Scout, though. That's going to mean BWC get the chance to take a full reset, but they just cost you your other side Walker. Melee Creeps, I don't think they have any problem playing this one slow. Walker after Walker. Ido doesn't have that affliction, but gets a couple damage. Combo is good onto him, but does have that satchel. Could maybe escape out of this one. Pocket's still alive. Mo now running out of this, trying to fight, but Gibbs is down, and despite all the low HP on Melee Creeps, they're playing with House Cash. They've got the Rejus here. Bunny with Clock just trying to reset into their base. But remember, there's a Walker out there. You are giving up for this.
Yeah, straight in on top of this one. The Shiv, pretty low, but again, Reju's are online, so doesn't matter. He's going to get taken down by the Walker. Reju will be used. In fact, all the Reju crystals are gone now, so that actually might prevent them from going further forward. And right now,
Arctic's down. You might go for this. And they've got the page. The pushing potential is pretty severe. Nina ulti over the top, putting some damage down. Big charge as well from Tanner. Hold on, this could turn into a real team fight now. Melee Creeps trying to navigate this one perfectly. Remember, there's still 2 players down for Bunny with Clock, and despite the beautiful start to this engagement, the swap from John keeps him in fighting form, and it's Bunny with Clock sent packing to the fountain. Still that damage from Tanner, the fact that he's able to get out as well. They just did enough, I think, to just stop this push and make sure there's no shrines dropping here now.
yeah, it's such a big differential though. 27k difference now. Okay, we might get a chase down. They're looking to try to see if they can find stragglers Bunny with Clock as they come out of the base. Is there anybody they can pick off here? There are players that dispersed. They're not expecting a team fight. And there is the
perennial punching bag Scout.
Captivating read.
He's 22k souls. Gibbs is even more broke. Fishcake's got to get a heal. He's not ready to take this kind of a fight. There is a big wave crashing to the Bunny with Clock base, so somebody's going to have to go back and deal with that, or you probably will lose a shrine here. There's no base guardians in that side lane. But if you go back on the map, it will be Arctic who's going to do it. Doesn't have that ult quite yet, so there's a chance for Melee Creeps to maybe come out on this map and contest this earn pickup.
Okay, well, there's the earn grab. Yeah, oh my god, yeah, they're enclosing on the position. They're looking to stop this Melee Creeps. Can they get a catch?
Should be huge. Ido on top. Oh, what a pop there. Mina is down, just trying to play that health bar, not respecting the amount of burst that Ido can put down. And more players potentially caught into this. Poshpop commits to the ult. Pocket coming in from behind. This could be devastating if he can get any affliction. Even a one-man would be good enough. Mo may not even need it to take down the Vol. Just has that raw damage. Blink pass, but now you know there's no way out. Affliction on 2. It's going to be solid from Ido. He's dancing, dipping, ducking, dodging, and weaving here. Mirage of the Tornado dodged as well. Beautiful stuff out of Ido. Just an absolute professional at work here on the pocket. Gets the clean up alongside John. And I mean, that's a devastating team fight. The advantage was pretty significant for melee creeps, and now it's really been blown wide open, especially with, you know, another 30 to 40 seconds to be uncontested around the map.
Yeah, this is where things get really out of hand now, because the entire map is up to be cleaned up too if melee creeps decide to try to do some farming. But they do have some resistance for this urn. I mean, we've got Sinclair there. Abrams is also looking for a potential charge.
He's baiting it.
He's got the outfire as well.
The double jump. Oh, and he gets there and drop. Okay, it's going to be good enough. Abrams shut down punish, locked down into the corner, just absolutely taking the kitchen sink to the face. Tanner, even him with the tankiness. Is it? Wait, somehow. Okay, no, he's down. And a second follows him. Gives straight to the grave. Shiv looking for more with that decay and the max knives. Out of daggers for now. Might slow him down, but this is a 6-on-3. We could be very close to the end of the game. 16 seconds toward that next affliction, and you better believe Ido is looking to get active.
I need to be careful out here.
They've got the entire map.
There's a lot of farm, right? Yeah, there's a lot of sinners. There's a lot of value to be extracted right now. Continue to grow this lead. I mean, we have the soul comeback mechanics at this point, right? You know, it's going to make the you know, the value of some of these cleanups not quite as severe, but I mean, that's cold comfort at this point for Bunny with Clock. I mean, you're not really getting anything out of the map right here, and maybe the creep's just going to get it all these permanent buffs off the sinners. You know, that's something you can just never get back.
Tap into my power.
Yeah, Paige just free farming. Never a good indication for the other team.
Yeah, Paige is super happy to just get a nice clear of a side of the map. Like, when do you get this on Paige? This is a Christmas special here. It's Black Friday on the left side of the map. You got Paige clearing an entire jungle.
Yeah, you can just see melee creeps just putting them out to work at the moment. And Bunny O'Clock, I mean, it's always that precarious position where you're like, you know, if we push out the base, they have full map control. Are they gonna try to gank us? Are they gonna pick? The game's over, but maybe they're not even there. Like, you just, without any way to get info, it's really,
so
really
right now.
difficult.
I feel like maybe it's up to like somebody like Cool Cheese or Aiden to kind of get out on the map and scout. A little bit of greed here, being scouted. They find Trisky, but he's out of there, and like, you almost know for sure anytime Bunny the Clock show on the map, they're going to be a 6-man at this phase. Like, they really have no other option. And so even just seeing that Shiv and having Shiv get away, and Shiv's probably one of the hardest heroes to catch in this entire game of this phase with the Warp Stone and the dash. I mean, he's just so incredibly tanky as well. And that means that you're just, I mean, Bunny the Clock, there's no farm in this part of the map. They're just kind of holding this position, you know, contesting something, but nothing to be had from that spot.
Able to build some rage as well with that dagger connected. The fight on the rooftop. Both teams gathering. And mid-boss, I mean, they can force it.
They might go for it. I mean, it's you are talking with the kind of lead where maybe you do just send it. You do have a page, of course, so the contest could be good. You could also just force the roar and then look for the team fight. But okay, they are going to do that. They're going to look for some catches. Ido scouting it out. Ido taking a bit of pressure, though. Hold on. Pocket's so crucial, dropping very low. Rip the affliction and maybe just done enough already. Here comes Paige with the all, and TMB is just running through them. The Warden sends them home, sends them to jail. And this could just be the end of the game right away. I don't even know if you go back for the mid boss at this point. DMB might smell the opportunity to just run it down mid, clear these waves, clear these guardians, take a bite out of that patron.
Sally.
Oh my, look at this damage. He's race car. He's race car. Literally race car Warden at this phase of the game. I mean, he's just unkillable. No one can 1v1. They could 2v1 him. I don't think they can stop him. And Shiv's here to assist as well.
Oh my god, it's disgusting.
It's all over.
It's game. Yeah, it's game. They're not even going to be alive for this. Look how fast that reload is, man. He's basically just perma shooting, clearing some base guardians because he's got something to do while the patron drops. You know, he's bored. A little bit to do. Ultimate ripped into the pit, and I mean, watch this patron drop, man. Warden has all of the gun damage in the world here. Absolutely no shot. They're grabbing the rejuves with Bunny with Clock, but it means nothing. Melee creeps take the game, and the series are champions here in NA.
So that's why you pick Warden DMB with the pop-off to close out the game. They're going to take night shift number 17, just like they did number 16. That's another $600 and so in their pockets, thanks to our great CFO, Jake, and the kind people tuning in across YouTube and Twitch.tv. DDK, guess how many people were watching you concurrently on just our 2 channels during that finals cast?
Wait, sorry, could you repeat that? Okay, I was actually
How many
watching, looking
people
at the
do you
chat.
think watched you concurrently across Twitch
Okay.
and YouTube?
All right,
Two
all right, all right.
streams, numbers
CCB knowledge
combined.
check.
7,777.
Divide that in two and you crushed it. It was very close to that. Fantastic work from across the seas to everyone tuning in NA. We were witnessing a show of strength. Bunny with clock didn't have the might in the second half. It's pretty close though through the first 15 minutes, Jake.
Absolutely. I mean, this game did come a bit down to the wire, but I felt like DMB and John, the double threat here on the Warden Geist, so much power, so much efficacy in these team fights, and then the Ido pocket, man, he just doesn't miss. He just doesn't miss. So clean on this pocket. I know he's a really flexible player. He can play a ton of different characters. He's, far from limited, but it's just something about the pocket. It's just this legacy hero. I feel like this is going to be one of those heroes that we're always going to want to see Ido bring out. And for good reason. I mean, he delivers the key team fight victories there in the final team fight. I mean, he's kind of baiting that engage, has the survivability to stay alive. And I mean, DMB comes in with the help of a page ult, and it's just lights out.
The page seeming to get more play in recent patches. We've got Saya popping off this time around on the support character. DDK, are you able to whittle it down to one moment here that locked it in for the melee creeps, or was it one player that we could crown an MVP? Let's take a look at their numbers first.
Yeah, one moment, I'm not sure, but I will say that I feel like this game was sweet justice for DMB because he got Rex having to play in Furnace on the first map and comes in with that performance on the Warden, getting off to a just crazy start. I think, his play at the beginning, he rocketed past everybody else and really gave a lot of presence for melee creeps to give them that early to mid game momentum that I think was pretty key. So DMB for me was definitely a standout.
Arctic and Aiden doing what they can when it came to the player damage, but it's going to be Ido on the pocket. That was most impressive for me on melee creeps. What are you weighing in on, Mr. Jake? What do we like about this game from either side?
I'm not gonna lie, the most satisfying thing for me in a game of Deadlock is clearing out the base like all by yourself in a matter of seconds. So I was so here for the DMV Warden, just absolutely deleting shrines, guardians, patrons, just everything before him, falling to this objective pressure from Warden. So always a fun thing to see. And the Warden really coming back into the meta now as a very relevant carry pick, getting the Geist and the Warden just overwhelmed a lot of these fights. I mean, I feel like Cool Cheese did his best with some nice combos in the early game to kind of find these picks and stifle the momentum of melee creeps. But just eventually we reach a point in the game when you're grouped up in a death ball and then the AoE damage, you got Pocket, you got Warden, you got Geist, you got Shiv. And then on top of that, you've got Saya and Scout layering in lockdowns and control. And you just can't fight into that kind of like a bog that melee creeps are putting down for Bunny with Glock.
A 50K soul difference was the final score, and this was the fastest game on the night. 30 minutes, 19 seconds. Melee Creeps taking down Bunny with Clock to become your NA champions once again. We have just one more thing to do, and that, I believe, is to show you some highlights from one individual. Which one was it? He won 2 games. He lost 1. I doubt he's from the losing team. DDK, did you get your vote in?
No, Pocket. I don't even know where I am right now.
You're in a great place. Go ahead and walk me through the highlights from
a classic, an absolute classic, a fan favorite.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Ido Pocket. I also think in the last game, right, on the Calico, able to find a ton of those like burst kills. I think I paid Calico the first 2 games. It's also a great hero for him. But for me, there's nothing like the Pocket. The GOAT. One of the best to ever do it here in Deadlock. I mean, was a streamer for a long time. I mean, still a streamer. Still one of the best.
Still a streamer.
In the
You can watch
category.
him.
However, also playing now in the competitive scene and showing that he's more than just a streamer.
We won him over, chat, because he was flirting with us. He was thinking about it. And then you guys put the pressure on him. I've always heard about his pocket, but it's always been banned out. Tonight, I finally get to witness the devastation.
Oof. I mean, just finding so many crucial kills just reaches this point in the game when I feel like you just can't deal with him, right? You need like every lockdown in the book to stop him, and often it's just not enough. And just absolutely perfectly executed these fights. I mean, he makes it look easy. That's what's crazy. This hero is so incredibly complicated, and he just makes it look so simple there.
Makes a trench coat look cool. It's tough to do.
Facts.
Yeah, step aside, Keanu Reeves.
And Melee, because this is what 6 in a row for them Sneaky Golem now long in the rearview mirror. It's just been Bunny with Claw kind of contending and challenging the last 3 night shifts, but it's wild to see how the tides have turned. The new kings in North America, beginning the start of a new dynasty, but they've got a long way to go to match the Hydra Nation record. I mean, that one might stand for a long time yet.
6 in a row. We're on a heater. At least to close out Q4, they are looking to finish strong in December. Should we invite the same teams back, do you think, for next week? Did we like what we saw from our squads, Bunny with Clock and Sneaky Golem? Are these the 3 best right now?
I think so. I mean, this is the triple threat in NA, and I think what's so exciting is, I mean, for so long, we were saying NA is the joke region where there's just like maybe one good team and no one can compete. Now that's EU, and now it's NA's turn to really shine and be the stars of the show. We've got 3 really strong teams. Feels like anyone could win on any given day. You got to give melee creeps the solid favorite position, but it's far from assured. I mean, Bunny with Clock can take games. I feel like Sneaky Golem, surely we can't count those players out given their pedigree and their experience at the highest level.
All right, I told myself to check in on my guy who had 3 edibles a match before the grand finals. Homie, you're still with us in the Twitch chat. How we feeling? Are you proud of MLC?
I'm unmuting just to call that 3 edibles. Like, you're out of your mind. Especially when you take them all at once. Like, you trying to go to the moon? You trying to invent space travel?
Yeah,
like, what's going on,
man? He's feeling colors right now. He's tasting stuff. Thank
Godspeed,
you for
brother.
joining us.
Godspeed.
Definitely did not return to the chat. We know you're in a better place. Enjoy the rest of your night on the couch. Hopefully your mom puts a blanket on you. In the meantime, we take a look here at our Shift 17 Hero Priority. Any surprises, DDK? I saw a Drifter tonight, and he got a W.
That's yeah, I mean, you know what, it's always good to see a Drifter, I feel like, but he did get a little bit hit by this most recent patch, so I'm kind of scared for his chances in the future. We got to see a couple Dynamos. I do think Dynamo does have utility. I'm definitely a Dynamo stan, so I hope we can see more of Dynamo. I do think we saw a good look on the Calico from Ido, because we're starting to see, you know, new interactions with some of the ways the investments work, as Jake explained in the match, and that kind of just changes how you might get the power spikes at various times in a map, and that can make all the difference in trying to make a hero viable that may before not have as much utility. So it's good to see. And in NA still loving the Mina. Mina's still up there. I think it's kind of a battle between NA and EU a little bit on the Mina, but it seems like EU's coming around a little bit more. So it seems like Mina's stocks are rising.
We're still super high on Shift, and we're super high on Abrams as well as Paradox. All 7 picks here. Not getting banned out, so they're not super threats. Is that how I should read that, Jake? What's the situation?
Yeah, I mean, they're characters that they're good, but they're not necessarily great, as we saw in the last game. Like, you know, there's value from Abrams and Paradox, so they do contribute, but they're not like the hard carries. I do also think the data from this week is going to be a little scuffed, considering the last 3 maps of the night were on a completely different patch. Big surprise for me, though, is GT down to only 1 pick, nobody touching Victor. So those are 2 characters that the last couple months have been at least decent, and now more or less unplayed. And so I'm curious to see if those trends continue, or especially the great talent. I feel like surely there's a way for GT to be in the meta. As we take a look at some of the top items of the night, debuff remover on top. I mean, talk about a value for green, though. If you're going to invest into the green, you throw up a shield, throw up a debuff remover, and Bob's your uncle. Like, that's your 4,800 green investment.
Totally, yeah. Debuff remover is so good, and it's one of the things. Like, I think you made this point earlier in the broadcast. If you are watching this broadcast, buy debuff remover. The reason why you think focus lens is so OP is because you're not buying debuff remover. It's not so scary when you can just press a button, get a heal, and remove the focus lens. Makes all the difference. But yeah, still seeing. Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. Finish.
I don't want to finish now, Plucker. You know what? It wasn't going to be valuable.
It was great. It was so good. It was probably the highlight of the show, and I ruined it. Damn it.
It's all good. It's
Healing
all
right,
good.
OP, you guys. Healing right, OP,
yes.
nerf healing
Healing
right.
right is OP. What was not OP was Victor. Why was Victor missing in action was the chat's request, and my ADHD interrupted you, Dan. Sorry.
Honestly, I feel like I'm just, every time you ask me something, I feel like I'm throwing wrenches your way. I don't know why I'm doing it today. So
I feel like that's a good question from chat. You know, one of the things I kind of want to try now in going into this next week is, like, right when Victor came out, people were playing this hyper carry build where you'd go like Berserker and then a lot of Spirit and Vitality. And then people started to play more just like all in on Spirit and Vitality, just like no gun items whatsoever. And I'm thinking now with this power spike buff, I wonder if you don't ever go Victor and go with Berserker again, get like one other, like a Fleetfoot or something to get that gun investment online and try and be the all-around carry where you've got a ton of spirit, you've got a ton of bullet damage. Maybe he's just getting cooked by all like the incredibly strong bullet carries. You just got Warden mowing you down. Your second life means nothing when Warden just standing there over you with an ult. So we'll see. But I'm curious, especially for heroes like GT that have felt like a mainstay in the competitive scene for a long time. I think they'll probably find a way back in.
Much love to everyone who tuned in. We gave out $1,235. Thank you for the donations. Keep them coming. And next week will be the final broadcast of December. We are going to see our families and friends during the holidays. So if you want us to dress up like little Christmas elves, like DDK's Christmas card, you got to pay us. We'll talk about it later. Hit up DDK on Twitter. That's Jake Overwatch. From behind the scenes, we had Solomon, the great June, a fantastic performance from Low 2. Everyone had a great show except for Knock. They bailed early. Later, Knock.